It's college game day inside the Buckeye State. The UNLV Rebels go on the road to face a MAC opponent for the first time in the decade. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves on the call. Johnnie, both teams are fresh off the bye week, and it's their first ever matchup between these two programs. The Rebels come into this game 3-0, and the RedHawks 0-2. Last game for the Rebels, they played UCLA at home. They got the win 30-23, which was head coach Dan Mullen's first win over the Bruins in his career, and also the third largest appearance for Rebel games at Allegiant Stadium. Now, Rutgers against Miami defeated them at 45-17, an absolute blowout, but nonetheless, they come here today to face each other for the first time in program history.
You're absolutely right, Wyatt. When it comes to this game, both of these teams are hungry. Both of these teams are understanding that it is early on in the season, and you still want to make statements before you're heading into conference play. Both of these teams haven't played in 2 weeks. That also means that although they're going to be sluggish, although there's going to be a little bit of hiccups when it comes to offense and defense, you have both offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators with a lot of time to go over film and game plan what they want to do. Today is going to be very interesting to see if what team is going to be able to be ready, has been locked in on practice, and was ready to go to win this football game.
UNLV has never defeated every non-conference opponent on its schedule since first joining the league in 1982, and they have the opportunity to make history today by doing so.
Why, being able to pull that stat, that completely shows that this is a new era. This is the Dan Mullen era, and what better way than to start off 4-0 against non-conference opponents. And it's not like they've gone up against any slouches. We've seen in the Idaho State game, Idaho State come out firing, ready to go on all cylinders. And then the game after that, UNLV has been able to still be consistent offensively and defensively. They need to keep the same energy today.
And Keith Reynolds was deep back for the kick for the RedHawks, brings it out to the 16. And this offense for Miami will come out for the first time today, led by Daquan Finn.
Daquan Finn is a perfect example of the dual threat quarterback in today's day and age. The dude has a lot of football played. He's been playing since 2019 at the college level. He has over 7,000 passing yards and 60 touchdowns to his name. Let's see if he's going to be the man to be able to keep Miami of Ohio on track for this football game today.
And a pre-snap penalty on the Rebels. Coach Mullen talked extensively the last few weeks about limiting that, and they are controllable, and it's coaching and teaching. And it's going to be offside, so moving it 5 yards forward.
If you're UNLV, you don't want to start the game giving up free yards right there to University of Miami of Ohio. But it's also worth noting that last game that we saw Miami of Ohio against Rutgers, they had 10 penalties themselves for a total of 92 yards. If they want to be successful this game, they have to be disciplined and not get those penalties.
1st and 5 from their own 22. Tracy in the backfield. Play action. Finn looking down the far sideline, wide open. Down the right sideline. It's Perry. What a play there to open this game up.
Right there, you have that wide receiver, Keith Reynolds, being able to get the ball and explode immediately. Right there, you have the former Washington Husky being able to use that play action pass, get outside on the quick over route, and make a big play right there.
The receiver on the reception is Cam Perry. He had 4 catches, 108 yards against Rutgers, and he picks up a huge chunk there. And a delay on the field from the referees.
These wide receivers are going to need to be very explosive today for this Miami offense if they want to be successful in this game.
Miami inside UNLV territory, and there's a flag on the play before the next snap. An unsportsmanlike penalty call on the RedHawks, so that's going to bring them back 15 yards. They were inside Rebel territory at the 39 after the pickup there by Perry and his celebration after the fact. The refs did not like it.
Yeah, man, sometimes when you feeling like you're going to be C.D. Lamb, put up those 2 hands for the first down, but it's not bad, boys. You ain't got no guns out here. We got to keep it cool, calm, and composed, and those are those penalties that you would like to see them not have.
Now 1st and 10 at their own 46. 14-20 in this first quarter. Play action. Finn rolls out, intended for Reynolds, over the head, and it's going to be second down.
Right there, you have their offensive coordinator cooking up just a simple little bootleg, but Quinn kind of airmailed it right there on the attempt to Reynolds. Let's see what they can cook up here on 2nd and 10.
DeQuan Finn, 14 of 23, 251 yards in the game against Rutgers. He also carried for 11 times, 85 yards, and a rushing touchdown. A huge dual threat guy that can get you in any way, which or form. 2nd and 10, shotgun formation, widespread offense for the RedHawks here. Motions Tracy to his right hip. And Reynolds as well. He will keep it going out the right side, breaks the tackle, picks up the first down inside UNLV territory, and steps out of bounds around the 43.
It's a great play call right there by offensive coordinator Pat Welsh using the triple option. You're able to put Reynolds in motion to get the defense thinking that he's coming with the ball with the jet sweep. Nope, we're going to be able to keep it right there. We have the quarterback DeQuan Finn doing his best Alex Orji impression, who unfortunately is going to be out for the rest of the season for the Rebels. Let's hope he has a good and speedy recovery for the rest of his college playing career.
Orji with a knee and hamstring injury will sideline him for the remainder of the season. 13:40 remaining in the first quarter. RedHawks on the offensive side. Screen action here for Tracy, and tackle behind the line of scrimmage by Jaheim Joseph. Blows up that play there.
Jaheim Joseph showing exactly what it means to be a strong safety right there, coming with his hard hat on and is able to read his keys, understanding and diagnosing the play. It was a simple halfback slip screen. What do you need to do if you're a safety on that play? You cannot allow the offensive lineman to get to the next level. He's able to avoid that block, get right to the tackle. Big stop right there for the Rebels.
Finn now 2nd and 11 at the Rebel 44. Shotgun formation here. Tracy in the backfield. Unexpected snap, has to play it. Pressure in his face, throws it down the near sideline, incomplete. Tries to get rid of it. Intended for Deion Colsey, and is now 3rd down.
Looked like there was some miscommunication right there between Finn and his center on that snap. And potentially they're lucky that Finn was able to get a hand on that ball and not allow that to be a fumble or something more dangerous for this Miami of Ohio offense. Now it's 3rd and 11. Let's see what UNLV's defense is able to do on this play.
This season, the RedHawks are 18% on 3rd down, 135th in FBS. And there's a pre-snap penalty. We'll go down the field to hear the call. And it'll be a false start. Andrew Special, our referee today, gave us the call there. They're going to back up 5 yards.
And like we said before, Wyatt, penalties are going to be very important in this football game. If you are Miami of Ohio to start this game, you do not want to start behind the sticks. Now, a 3rd and 11, you're now looking at a 3rd and 16. It's going to be very hard to get this pickup right here.
At the Rebel 49, another pre-snap penalty, this time on the Rebels. And they're going to call that one on Chief Borders.
Right there, we see the perfect example of what happens when you haven't played football in 2 weeks. A lot of these dudes, they have a lot of pent-up energy and a lot of pent-up aggression trying to get after the quarterback. Right there, Chief Borders just getting a little bit too antsy to try to get after the quarterback. But again, you have to stay disciplined. Miami of Ohio was shooting themselves in the foot. Now UNLV is letting them off the hook. Let's reset it again on 3rd and 11.
Coach Mullen is not happy on the sideline there with Borders. But this defense looks to get off the field here. Another pre-snap penalty, the 5th one on this drive. Less than 2.5 minutes down in this first quarter, and this one's a false start on Miami.
I guess we're going through the false start war right now, Wyatt, to start this football game. Right here again on the same side, Chief Borders and that left tackle going at it again. I don't know if Chief Borders' aura kind of got to him and made him feel like he had to move back a little bit too fast. But as the left tackle, you are that blind side, that book end. You want to be able to get off your keys quick.
So now it's 3rd and 16 at the Rebel 49. Finn has to roll out left, breaks down in the pocket, throws it away. And they're going to be taking the punting unit out on the field.
It's a great first drive by the UNLV defense. Outside of that penalty by Borders, they were able to come out in this game with Miami of Ohio at home and be able to get the ball to their offense, which is what they want. That is exactly what UNLV defense and Paul Gunther, that is exactly what they wanted to start this football game.
2 false starts for the offense, 2 offsides, and the unsportsmanlike conduct by Perry. Now to punt the ball is Pierce Stanton. And deep back for the Rebels, who's going to let this one bounce, is D'Angelo Irvin. And that ball will be at the 16. And we'll see this UNLV offense for the first time today here in Ohio. But first, we're going to step aside real quick. The Rebels are tied in Ohio 0-0, 12:38 in the first quarter. You're listening to Rebel Football. Welcome back to Rebel Sports Network. You're listening to Rebel Football. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves on the call. Taking a look at both head coaches in this one. The UNLV Rebels head coach Dan Mullen has 106 wins all time and 3-0 with the UNLV Rebels. He has 10 bowl game appearances and an SC championship game appearance as well back in 2020 when he was the head coach with Florida. Now they lost that game to Bama 52-46. Flipping it to the other side, we also see a lot of experience out of head coach Chuck Martin for the Miami RedHawks. 139 wins all time, and he's the winningest coach in Miami history with 65. He also has 8 bowl game appearances as well. So a lot of experience at the helm of both of these programs, and both these teams are looking to capitalize and get ahead early on in this game.
Exactly why. When you look at both of those head coaches, both of them are prestigious coaches. Both of them have been able to play a lot of football, see a lot of football, and understand how to coach the game of football. Now, when it comes to leading these groups of men, these groups of young men, they need to be able to make sure that all these guys are going to play discipline. They understand coming off of those bye weeks and coming off of a 2-week layoff that these guys are going to be a little rusty. They haven't played football in a while. But the job for both of them with their experience is to make sure these guys are cool, calm, and collected. Let's see what UNLV's offense can do to start the drive.
And the guy leading the way for the Rebels, Calandria, quick outside of Omire. Clock is ticking there after a gain of about 5. Correction, Bradley. Good play there to start off this drive.
I love that play call right there by Corey Dennis, understanding that with your quarterback, Anthony Calandria, the dude is on fire to start the year so far. 647 passing yards to be able to start this year to 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. He has the 31st highest QBR in the country. That is QB rating. He's the 31st ranked quarterback when it comes
Calandria's
to it.
pass deflected up in the air. Sorry to interrupt you, partner, and almost intercepted by that defensive line. Ball was tipped up in the air by Adam Trick.
It's a great play right there by Tripp. But going back to Calandria, the dude is a gunslinger, and Corey Dennis is going to allow him to do that with this offense. And everything today when you see UNLV's offense is going to be trying to stay on schedule, stay on track.
Ball tipped up in the air by Josh Lukusa and almost intercepted by Trick. It is now 3rd and 6 for the Rebels, who have been 42% on 3rd down this season at their own 21. Calandria looking pressure, fires across the middle, finds Bradley, but it's not going to get anywhere. It's going to be short for a gain of 4.
It's a good job right there by Calandria, just being able to get the ball to your playmakers and allow them to make the play.
Bradley streaking across the middle and tackled by Silas Walters. And they actually give him the first down here. The Rebels will stay on the field. Quick pass there and flicks it forward down the far sideline. Picks up a huge first down. What a play there by JoJo Earl.
Nice wrinkle right there by Corey Dennis, being able to use the wide receiver jet sweep and use JoJo Earl out of that slot position, put him in motion, and it makes it look like Jet Thomas is going to get the ball. No, it's actually a forward push pass to give it to JoJo Earl, allow him to get in the space. That is an explosive play for this UNLV offense.
And that pickup there by Earl moves the chains again for the Rebels, now at their own 47. Across midfield, connects on the far sideline. This time, Dejon Reynolds.
Dejon Reynolds on the quick, simple, easy 5-yard hitch route to be able to get that pickup. And again, everything is all timing. When you're a quarterback and you're a receiver, you want to be right on your timing. When you're able to do that, that's when you're able to get those easy pickups, easy yards that keeps the defense on the toes. I love to see UNLV's offense using a little bit of that hurry-up style to keep the ball moving, keep the clock churning.
Scoreless here in the first quarter, 10:35. 2nd and 5 at the RedHawk 48. Calandria, far side, intercepted, going the other way. The RedHawks have the ball inside UNLV territory, and that ball is picked off by Jackson Kuich.
It's a great play right there by Jackson Kuich, being able to understand that in that flat, if you are that flat defender, you have to see the ball and get to the ball. What does he do right there? He's able to do exactly that, running that route to the flat, and you have him going in the coverage, being able to cover that completely. Anthony Calandria, you would think that he would know that going into that read, you have to be able to play both of those zone defenders. He's not able to do that. He pulls the trigger just too early, and unfortunately is a turnover for this UNLV offense to start this game.
Calandria cannot afford to turn the ball over, partner. He's only had one interception going into today, and he throws his second one here. This Miami offense will take over at the Rebel 29-yard line. 1st and 10, 10:23 in the first quarter. Play action. Finn looks left, far sideline, connects. That's Tracy, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown, RedHawks.
For the RedHawks right there, again, they get another lucky break on the first drive, or first play of the drive to start the game. Right there, we have UNLV on their defense. There's a complete busted coverage. Right there, you would like to see the linebacker, if they are a man-to-man, be able to get over there. There's completely nothing over there. They're able to run that running back wheel completely wide open. He's able to skip, walk, dance, hit his little smoney dance like Chris Breezy at Allegiant Stadium last night, get into the end zone for a touchdown. UNLV's offense will have to answer with some points to start their next drive.
The interception by Corbin Hondrew fuels this immediate touchdown by the RedHawks. Great score there. One play, 29 yards. 8 seconds on that second drive for the RedHawks. Wide open. The RedHawks lead 7-0 in Ohio. The Rebels trail 7-0 here in the first quarter, 10:15 remaining, off the interception of Anthony Calandria, thrown to Hondrew, and the next play action, wheel route to Tracy. Finn connects for 29 yards for the first touchdown of the game. The Rebels have gained almost 700 yards on the ground in just 3 weeks, averaging 201 rushing yards per game. And the two leading rushers, Jet Thomas and quarterback Anthony Calandria. Thomas with 273 yards on the ground, and right behind him is his QB1 with 237, and they need to use the ground game here after throwing an interception on their first opening drive.
You're 100% Wyatt. Going into this football game, they need to understand that Jet Thomas is still going to be a vital part of this offense. 2 weeks ago when University of Miami of Ohio played against Rutgers, they did let up 421 yards of total offense. 200 of those was in the running game. If UNLV wants to be successful, wants to be able to settle down their quarterback, Anthony Calandria, that did just throw that interception and hasn't played football in 2 weeks, we have to understand that these guys are going to be rusty. They're going to be sluggish right there on that flat route. He got a little bit ahead of himself knowing that it's a no-huddle offense. I need them to utilize the running game, utilize Jet Thomas and the weapon he is out of the backfield.
Coach Mullen spoke earlier in the week about the bye week, stating this bye week is not a bad time. Now the team has settled in a little bit more into the routine in terms of practicing and getting accustomed to their day-to-day as well. With that being said, the Rebels start off this second offensive drive, 1st and 10 at their own yardage.
Everything right here for Anthony Calandria just has to be about rinse and repeat. Let's get everything positive. Let's keep the ball moving forwards, not backwards.
At their own 25, shotgun formation. Keeper Calandria off the far sideline, picks up the first down, hurls a man, and is pushed out of bounds near the 45. What a play there. True athleticism by the transfer.
That's exactly what you want to see right there from the QB1, showing that white man can jump. He has a little bit of bunnies right there on the play, completely going over that safety defender, but showing that he's not afraid. He understands I made a mistake last drive, but I still need to be the commander of this offense. I still need to come out here and make plays. He does exactly that on that big run, showing his leaping ability, a little bit of vertical right there.
Against UCLA, 59 yards on the ground as he connects with Omire on the sideline. Picking it up for a gain of 8 there. Use his legs against UCLA, 59 yards on the ground, and a good gain there. Gain of 8 through the air.
Another good job right there by Corey Dennis, understanding that they can use the tempo. When you have that run-pass option, those RPO plays, you're able to keep the defense at bay.
2nd and 2 for the Rebels. Calandria quick to Lee in the flat, picks up the first down and tackled by multiple RedHawks, brought down at the Miami 43.
Another great job right there by Anthony Calandria, just going through his progressions, going through his reads, understanding that, hey, it's only 2nd and 2. I just need to get 2 yards for the first down. What am I going to do? I'm going to get it right to my check down, and Kevon Lee, who was looking to have another good performance after he played great against UCLA, had his first touchdown of the season as well.
1st and 10 for the Rebels. Calandria under center. Have not seen this a lot from him. Motions gums to the right. Tosses it back to Lee, trying to get outside and get back to the line of scrimmage, but we'll have a loss of 1 there. Great defensive stop by Miami.
That's a great job by Miami, understanding that on that halfback sweep, you have to be able to hold your contain, read your keys, and be able to understand your leverage. When you have outside leverage, you want to be able to make sure that the lineman feels you. You're going to be able to meet them in the gaps and plug out every hole. Right there, Kevon Lee had nowhere to go. It looked a little bit like the Raiders' offensive line right there, Wyatt, on that play. There was no running lanes to go through. Let's see what UNLV can do here.
Lee motion to the near side. Pressure and sacked on the play. Huge come up there by the RedHawks. Brought down by number 43, Grant Lyons.
It's a great job right there by Grant Lyons, being able to come from that defensive end position. Not only did he get blocked, but it's the second effort. When you're able to make a second effort at that defensive end position, you're able to be a part of the cleanup crew. Right there, he does exactly that. It's 3rd and 17. This is a big down for the UNLV offense to start the game.
3rd and 17. Quick screen, almost intercepted off the hands of Lee. And this offense stalls once again, bringing out the punting unit.
Miami of Ohio has been extremely oppressive so far on the defensive end of the defensive end of the football. But also right there, UNLV tried to run that halfback screen on the other side for themselves. Corbin Hondrew, again, the guy that was able to get the interception last drive, was right on it at that safety position, being able to drop down, make a play on the football, and make UNLV have to punt the ball to start the game.
Coach Martin for the RedHawks spoke about the Rebels, saying they whooped UCLA. They have more 4- or 5-star recruits than Wisconsin and Rutgers combined. Both of those they had played earlier in the season. So we will be facing a different kind of athleticism, but they knew the physicality they were going into in this game, and they've been answering the challenge so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything that we've seen so far from Miami of Ohio has been trying to be. After that interception, it kind of woke them up a little bit, especially in the offensive end. We saw them being able to score on 8 seconds. I would like to see them as an offense be able to stay aggressive on this drive. If University of Miami of Ohio wants to be able to win this football game, they cannot be timid. They need to come out and give UNLV their best shot. They need to come out and try to get a knockout blow, kind of like Canelo and Crawford. They want to be able to come into this game and show that they can impose their will. Let's see what they can do on this third drive. I'm sorry.
1st and 10 from their own 9, and another pre-snap penalty, this time on the Rebels, and it's going to be offsides.
Right there, UNLV, again, not being disciplined, not playing disciplined football. That is going to put you in a hole to start this drive, and now you're looking at 1st and 5 for this Miami of Ohio offense, and they're having a lot of options. Right now, you can run the run game and be able to pick up 5 yards easily, but you also have that play-action pass game now because you have these guys that are going to be trying to be aggressive, trying to get after the quarterback, trying to have some juice for their offense.
That penalty there on Cohen Fuller, the senior from Inglewood, California, hand up the middle. Tracy tackled by Fuller and brought down for a gain of 2.
That's a great job right there by Fuller, being able to fill that gap and run stuff. When you're a defensive tackle, you're also known as the nose tackle. Being able to dig in and be able to fill gaps like that in the run game, make sure that inside zones are not going to be able to be successful. That's exactly what you want to see right there from that nose tackle position from Cohen Fuller.
2nd and 3 for the RedHawks. They lead 7-0, under 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter at Yager Stadium. Ball at their own 16-yard line. Finn in shotgun formation, trips right.
Got a safety.
Looking across the middle. He's going deep down the seam and connects. What a play there. Deion Colsey inside Rebel territory, brought down near the 40.
This play does not happen if their running back does not have a huge block to give his quarterback time on the outside. Right there, you have everybody being able to sit in the pocket and allow him to diagnose. What does he do? He extends the play, is able to push the ball downfield to his receiver, and UNLV's coverage, both the cornerback and the safety, were not able to get there in time to make sure that big play did not happen.
It is now 1st and 10 for the RedHawks at the UNLV 40. A gain of 44 there, and Finn will use it his legs bring him down at the 36 after a gain of 44 to Colsey, who only had 1 catch for 9 yards against Rutgers.
Right there, we have Daquan Finn understanding that, hey, I am still a dual threat quarterback. Right there, we have their offensive coordinator being able to dial up a play that puts him out in space. Make sure that he's able to use his legs in a lot of the same ways we see Anthony Calandria use his legs. You get yourself in space, get your quarterback moving. Let's see what they can do here on 2nd and 6.
5:35 remaining in the first quarter. The RedHawks lead 7-0 and are in Rebel territory. Perry motion left, handoff to Tracy. Tackled by Pope near the 15 and move the chains again for this RedHawks offense.
That's another great play call right there by the RedHawks offense, being able to use the outside zone this time to get Tracy out in space. And if it wasn't for Jake Pope and that amazing shoestring tackle, we might be saying another touchdown for the RedHawks right there.
This defense just looks like it's stalling today. Little one step slower. It is earlier for them. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time in their internal clock, but they are just not moving at the pace they want to be moving at. Wildcat play, flicks it to Finn. He throws it to the outside and brings it inside the 5, connected there to Shane.
right there to Daquan Finn is able to get the ball to Brian Shane, and we see a little wrinkle of almost like a little bit of a Philly special. But you're able to get Daquan Finn in this offense another look. Right there, we have Tracy, the running back, actually taking the snap, and Daquan Finn coming from behind him, being able to throw that pass right there for a first down. That is amazing creativity right there from their offensive coordinator. I like what I'm seeing so far from the RedHawks coming into this game being aggressive.
The trickery there gets them at the 3-yard line, 1st and goal. Tracy in the backfield. Shane motion to pistol formation now. Handoff, Tracy off the right side. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Good play there. Credit to Camuela Kaiahua.
It's a great play right there by Camella, being able to get right there at that linebacker position and understand that it's goal line to go. It's not 1st and 10 anymore. Right now, we need everybody to get strong, great tackles. He's able to do exactly that for the UNLV defense.
It's now 2nd and goal at the 3. 3:38 remaining in this ball game. The RedHawks lead 7-0 and are knocking on the door for 7 more.
It's like man-to-man across the board for the Rebels.
And across the pylon, connects. This time, Finn finds Keith Reynolds for the touchdown.
Keith Reynolds right there being able to get wide open on that flat route. Right there, they're able to do a perfect example of what it means to have rub routes if the defense is playing man-to-man. Right there, you have that outside X receiver playing and being able to run just a simple slant. They put Keith Reynolds in motion. He's able to go back. Nope. I'm going to put him right back to the outside. It looked like a play that the Packers actually used against the Rams a couple years ago, where Devontae Adams was able to score a touchdown on that same exact play. Now the RedHawks are looking to go up, now 14-0 on the Rebels to start this game.
7 plays, 91 yards, a touchdown pass to Keith Reynolds, who, against Rutgers, a career-high 120 yards, and today finds his way in the end zone. The RedHawks lead 14-0 here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves here on Rebel Sports Network. You're listening to UNLV football. The Rebels are down 14-0 in enemy territory at Oxford, Ohio. The Miami of Ohio RedHawks have been red hot today. And earlier in the week on Monday, head coach Dan Mullen spoke on Miami. They had a big game against Rutgers. Last year, they played in their conference championship. last year one of the best defenses in America, and explosiveness on offense. And we're seeing that explosiveness here with their dynamic QB who has great arm talent, who can run, great speed, and can make you miss. And he has thrown up 2 touchdowns so far in just the first quarter, Johnny.
Yeah, no, I've loved everything that I've seen so far from Daquan Finn, being able to understand that as the quarterback of this team, you can't put the ball in harm's way. But when they needed it most, they've been able to use him both with his legs and with his arm. Right there, we've seen on that drive, we've seen Miami of Ohio's receivers be able to get open against this UNLV secondary, a UNLV secondary which has been pretty solid so far. We need to see Amaris Brown, Anthony Powdrill, Jake Pope, and also Jaheim Joseph. We need to see all that defensive back room be able to put more pressure on these wide receivers, not allow them to get free releases. I would like to see Paul Gunther go into a little bit more man-to-man defense. Let's see if he goes zone to try to switch up the looks. But so far, Daquan Finn has done a great job of just delivering the ball to your playmakers and allowing them to make plays.
In the Rebels' last game against UCLA, 3 new faces to the program scored their first touchdown in the Scarlet and Gray. The tall, versatile threat who transferred from ASU, senior receiver Troy Omire, one of the top tight end transfers in the portal, senior tight end Varkey's Gums, and Jacksonville's own, who caught both his first collegiate career reception, but also his first receiving touchdown, senior tight end Nick Elksness. And you're going to need to see the versatility today. It's going to be all hands on deck. All 11 guys need to be able to do something here to get out of this 14-0 hole.
100%, Wyatt, but there is still a lot of time in this football game. But when you look at it, like you said, this UNLV offense is versatile. They need to be able to use all those weapons in this game.
And Glover handoff up the middle for a gain of 3, brought down at the 24.
That's the first example that we've seen, first instance we've seen today of Glover being able to get in this game. But again, the season's still early. Corey Dennis and this offense and Dan Mullen, they understand that they need to keep these guys fresh, keep them engaged. I would like to see on this drive them be able to finish and capitalize. They've been able to have good momentum and be able to pull together solid drives, but then they stall out. I need to see them sustain this drive and get points on the board.
2nd and 7, fires, connects. And that's Tayshawn Lyons, picks up the first down and brought down by a committee of RedHawks at the 33.
That was a beautiful example of the wide receiver snag. A wide receiver snag is going to look like a 6-yard slant. And what you're supposed to do for the quarterback is you're able to, once you diagnose and you read, okay, it's zone or it's man, if it's zone, you go, you hit the snag. The snag means that you're going to sit in that zone coverage, put your numbers to your quarterback, and allow him to have a big target.
Shotgun trips right. Calandria is going to keep it off the left sideline. Picks up the first down and more. Hit out of bounds late. No penalty flag there. And now they throw one. He was brought down outside just near midfield, and they're going to get further inside RedHawk territory.
It's a great play, again, by Anthony Calandria, being able to pull it on that quarterback read on the read option, understanding that if the defensive end crashes down on my running back, I'm going to be able to take the ball and use my legs to extend the play. But right there, I like to see Anthony Calandria's composure right there, understanding that, hey, if they do happen to hit me while I'm getting out of bounds, I don't need to get up. I don't need to run into the guy's face. I don't need to talk any trash. I'm going to get up, keep the ball moving, keep this offense on schedule. I love to see the sportsmanship and the great leadership by the quarterback right there on that play.
The Rebels trail 14-0. Just about 2 minutes to go remaining in the first quarter. 1st and 10 after that 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness at the RedHawk 35. Calandria, pocket collapses, runs, and picks up the first down using his legs for the first.
We see so far in these first 3 weeks for UNLV football, when it comes to Anthony Calandria, when he goes through his progressions and things break down and he's able to get to the second level, he has a lot of elusiveness as a runner when it comes to making the first man miss. Every single time that I've seen him run, he always does a great job of setting up his defender, hitting him with 1-2 step, and being able to make something out of nothing. I'd love to see that dual threat ability from Anthony Calandria, because if you look at the NFL level, that is what all the big stars have. The Josh Allen's, Lamar Jackson, the Patty Mahomes, they all make plays with their legs when they have to.
Calandria, play action, looking far down the deep sideline, out of bounds, intended for Lyons, who caught a pass earlier for 9, unable to connect there. 2nd and 10.
That's a great coverage on the outside right there by the corner against Lyons. He's able to do a great job of understanding his leverage, not allow Lyons to get outside of him on that comeback route, and is now making it a 2nd and 10 for this UNLV offense.
A minute and 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. Rebels inside RedHawk territory. They trail 14-0 here. 2nd and 10, shotgun formation at the RedHawk 24. Calandria empty. Pocket collapses again, has to roll out, trying to make a play. Pump fake several times, and then connects there. And it's Glover with the catch.
That's a great job right there by Anthony Calandria. Again, extending the play with his legs, but also using his arm to complete the pass. Right there you have empty across the board. What does that mean? It was straight man-to-man coverage, and it was really good coverage by the RedHawks. Everybody was on their man hip to hip. Unfortunately, they were not able to stick onto Jalen Glover. He did step out of bounds and come back in bounds to be able to make that catch. Referees let them pass on that play. It is setting up now at 3rd and 4.
Good eye there, partner. Got away with that one. 54 seconds remain. Clock actually is reset to 1:05. They did catch that, so it is an incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 10 for the Rebels with 1:05 to go.
And right here, if you're Anthony Calandria, you don't need to do anything that's going to put the ball in harm's way. You don't need a turnover here. There's a lot of football left. Live to fight another day. Let's just get a good possession right here and a good catch.
The Rebels are 1 of 2 on 3rd down today. Calandria fires across the middle, connects. First down there. And it's Dejon Reynolds for the 2nd time today.
And we talked about a little bit earlier on this drive, Wyatt, about the versatility of this UNLV offense. Right there, you would think it would be Jaden Bradley being able to come up with that big catch. Nope, it's Day Reynolds coming up with a big post route. And Anthony Calandria, everybody in the pocket was able to give him enough time to set his feet and strike the ball right across the middle on that post route. And that's a beautiful pickup for a 1st down for this Rebel offense.
Widespread offense. Glover motion to the flat on the far side. Wide open, overthrown. Intended there for Bradley, who was wide open, and Calandria just puts it over his head.
Anthony Calandria right there, one of the early miscues that we've seen so far from him in this game. You have Jaden Bradley running that beautiful spray fade out of the slot, setting up his man completely, and he was wide open. All Anthony Calandria had to do was just put a little less on that football, and we might be saying go touchdown for the Rebels right there. Let's see what they can do here on 2nd and 10.
You can see the frustration on Calandria's body language there. 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 at the RedHawks 12. Empty formation. He's going to use his legs and picks up a gain of 2, brought down at the 15.
That's a great job by the linebacker right there. McCain being able to come down with his hard hat and make a tackle on the quarterback right there. UNLV's offense tried to see if they could catch Miami on their heels, try to get them a little bit of a QB run, QB draw right up the middle with everybody spread out, and they were right on it.
And with that, that takes us to the end of the first quarter. The Rebels trail 14-0 in Miami of Ohio. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back to Yager Stadium. The Rebels travel on the road for the first time playing a MAC opponent in the last decade. They trail 14-0 on this current drive. 9 plays, 69 yards, 3 minutes and 20 seconds so far. It is 3rd and 8 at the RedHawk 10, Johnny, and they have looked really stagnant in the first quarter. But in this second quarter, they have an opportunity here to go out and make some plays.
Yeah, in that first quarter, you've seen UNLV in this offense and this defense, both sides of the ball. You've seen those cobwebs have to kind of get shaken off a little bit. You've seen when you have that 2-week layoff, when you come in from a game where you're at the highest of highs, just beating UCLA, and then you come out here and you're playing a non-conference opponent again. You're having to travel, get on the plane, get all the way to Ohio. Coming into this game, they started sluggish. We've seen that with Anthony Calandri's interception, and then also the play of the defense so far. But UNLV has finally started to settle themselves into this football game. I would like to see them get a touchdown here to finish this drive, but they have to also understand if they don't, they have 3 in their back pocket. Let's see what they can do here on a big 3rd and 8 to start the second quarter.
Looking at the play of today and the scoreboard, you would have expected UNLV to possibly be 0-2 and Miami to be 3-0, but that's not the case here. 3rd and 8 at the RedHawk 10. Calandria has to step up. Pocket collapses and only is able to pick up a gain of 1, forcing 4th down. A huge stop and tackle there by Devin Bell.
Devin Bell right there, not giving up on the play. Right there, he's able to get a big tackle on Anthony Calandria, not allow him to use his legs to be able to get out in space and pick up that first down. UNLV's offense will have to live with 3 on this drive.
That brings us Ramon Viella for the kick here. He hit 1 field goal from 50 yards against UCLA. 3 of 5 this season, 60%. The 27-yard pooch kick. Up and in. The Rebels finally get on the board here early in the second quarter. It is 14-3 in Ohio. You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sports Net. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnny Graves on the call. The Rebels trail 14-3 at Yager Stadium, but the good news is they have been on a 5-game winning streak on the road against non-conference teams, which is the most in Mountain West history. Yes, it's been a sluggish start, but we saw one in the first game of the season against Idaho State, and look what they were able to do and come back and win. And their second quarter has been their best friend this season so far.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Wyatt. We've seen UNLV come off the slow starts before in this football season, but it's also noticeable. Anthony Calandria has 5 carries so far for 45 yards in this game. He's been able to use his legs to extend the drive when he's needed the most, and then use his arm to capitalize on what the defense is giving him. Right there, Miami of Ohio has been playing great defense so far, Aldo, to start this football game.
A 15-yard return there, brought out to the 16 by Keith Reynolds, and that's where Finn and this RedHawk offense is going to start this drive.
And if you're the RedHawks to start this drive, and especially Daquan Finn, again, you do not want to put the ball in harm's way and give this UNLV defense any life to give the offense the football back and potentially score points. You want to be able to separate this. If you have to score fast, score fast. But if you are the RedHawks, you understand that you have the time and possession on your side. You want to use that to your advantage to start this drive.
Finn in the last 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, 8 plays, 120 yards, a pre-snap penalty. It'll be interesting to see where the referees call it here. It's going to be encroachment on the defense of UNLV, their 4th penalty of the game.
Again, jump around. Jump around. This D-line has been jumping around. This D-line has been jumping offsides all day so far, and that's penalties that you do not want if you're Dan Mullen in this defense.
1st and 5 for the RedHawks at the 21. Some pre-snap motion here. Finn's going to keep it, and he's brought down short. Tackled there by Trey Fulton.
It's a great play call right there by being able to open everything up by Pat Walsh. Understand that you have that quarterback that is a mobile quarterback. You can use him in the quarterback draw game. He does exactly that right there. But what I also love to see is Daquan Finn being able to understand that I need to take care of myself as a quarterback. He doesn't slide, but he does dive to be able to get his body down, get himself down, does not take any big unnecessary hits.
Gain of 3 by the legs of Finn. It is now 2nd and 2 for the RedHawks. 13:35 remaining under center. Hands off to Tracy. Fighting for the yards. And will pick up the first down. Brought down by McDuffie.
It's a great job right there by Tracy, understanding his leverage, being able to know where the line to gain was. As a running back, sometimes that's all you need to do. You have to have a forward lean, be able to push the pile, get that first down. But another great fill right there. I like to see Marcel McDuffie understanding that, hey, it is 2nd and 2. They did get the first down, but I'm still going to come in with bad intentions, trying to make a good tackle on the defensive end. That was a great job by McDuffie.
Kenny Tracy, the 6th year out of Indianapolis, Indiana, stands 5'10", 229 pounds, full of power here. And he's going to get the ball again. Huge run there into the 2nd level and picks up the first down.
That's another great job right there by Daquan Finn, understanding that with this defense that UNLV is playing, he can pick his poison when it comes to the quarterback and running back read option game. Right there, he waits almost a whole 2 seconds to deliver the ball to his running back before giving it to him up the gut for a 10-yard gain. That's a great job by Finn being able to understand that he can read the keys of the defense, keep them on their toes, and give the ball up to his running back and allow him to make a play.
The RedHawks have averaged 11.6 yards per play to UNLV's 4. It's now 1st and 10 at their own 37. Play action across the middle, tipped up in the air and dropped. Perry there was the intended receiver. Had the ball in his hands, but unable to come down with it. It is now 2nd down for the RedHawks.
And just before I was about to say it, right there was a lot of off coverage that UNLV was playing on that defensive possession. But right there, we've seen the first example of what happens when UNLV has been able to get pressure on Finn today. If they want to be successful, they need to make him uncomfortable in that pocket. So far, he has not been rattled in this football game.
2nd and 10 at their own 37. Option here. Finn is going to take it. Gets outside near the near sideline and picks up the first down inside Rebel territory. But there's a flag on the play, and it looks like they're going to be going back.
Looks like there was a hold right there. Finn was trying to use that quarterback read option to his advantage right there, but his offensive lineman would not let go of that defensive end. They're going to be able to call that play back, and UNLV catches a big break on that play.
And the holding penalty is called on number 70, Jacob Schorsch, the redshirt freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio, on the outside there.
That's a name. I like that name. Schorsch? How you say it? Schorsch?
Schorsch.
Schorsch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Now it's 2nd and 17. Less than 12 minutes to go in the second quarter here. Miami of Ohio leads 14-3. Finn in shotgun formation, trips right for the RedHawks. Motioning here. Finn looking, pocket collapse hit as he throws. Tracy catches it, but only for a gain of 4. Tackled there for a gain of 4.
It's a great tackle right there by linebacker Isaiah Patterson. I'm sorry. He is able to get right after the quarterback, make a big tackle right there, or right after the running back. I'm sorry. But another good job right there by Daquan Finn, understanding that you're not going to get all 17 yards in one play. You take the easy check down, give your running back the ball, keep him involved. Let's see what they can do here on a big 3rd and 13.
3rd and 13 for the RedHawks. They are 1 of 2 today on 3rd down. Looking to pick up a huge one here. Rolling out right. Finn fires down the seam. Intercepted. Going the other way. The Rebels have it. Going down the far sideline. Cuts back inside. Going down the far sideline. The 20, 10, 5. And he's in. Morris Brown with the interception.
Morris Brown right on the money. What have we seen from him so far in the first 4 weeks of this football season? Him be, again, the star on defense. When you are playing the nickelback position, you have to be able to be versatile. Not only do you have to run fit, but you have to play in coverage. And what does he do? Make a timely interception when the UNLV Rebels needed it most to inject this team with some life. Right there, he's able to not only high point the ball, make an insane play, show his vertical, show his athleticism, but have the wherewithal to run almost the entire length of the field right there and make a big play. We also have an injured Miami RedHawk down on the field. It looks like it's Finn taking a big hit by Ben Wuhad on that play.
Big hit there by Mumu Ben Wahad on Finn as he throws the interception for Brown, being a ball hawk this season. 4 interceptions, leading the nation with interceptions here. And he brings this one to the house for the 2nd time this year. What a play by Morris Brown, showing up big for the Rebels here. And we will step aside as Finn has yet to get up. The Rebels trailed 14-9 with 10:41 remaining in the second quarter. You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back inside Rebel Sportsnet here. You're listening to Rebel Football. Daquan Finn helped off to the field, and it does not look good going into the blue tent for the RedHawks. Following the pick six by Amaris Brown, who now leads the nation with interceptions with 4. And Finn hit below the legs as he throws the ball, jumping effort, but then lands on his right throwing arm on his shoulder, visibly shaken up here.
Right there, if you're Finn, you like to see him be able to understand that, again, when you're trying to make big plays like that, you need to be able to take care of your body and amazing job of high pointing the football.
And with that reception, that is the second pick six for Brown's career this season, and it comes up in a timely moment here. He has had 1 interception each game, totaling in 4, and he leads the nation with 4 interceptions.
Award winner for the last couple weeks because of the fact that this dude every single time has made plays. Not only is he the interceptions leader, but he is also the sack leader as a defensive back, as a nickel back on this football team. Whenever Amaris Brown is on this field, he's doing a great job of making plays. A guy that he reminds me of at the next level is Buda Baker, a guy who's a ball hawk, who's always going to be around the ball, making plays, making big hits, and Amaris Brown has done exactly that for this UNLV defense. He's making a case that potentially he could be looked at as a Jim Thorpe Award winner when the season comes if he stays on the pace that he's on right now.
Now Daquan Finn is out, so coming in for the RedHawks is Henry Hessen, the 6', 297-pound senior from Plainfield. And he is going to have to pick up the pace here in this lead.
And Henry Hessen, the senior from Indiana, from Plainfield, Indiana, coming into this football game, you're a senior. You have that experience. You have that time to be able to sit in this offense and understand what your coach wants from you, but you have to play within yourself.
1st and 10 at their own 25. Motion is Perry, and Lacey will get the handoff up the middle for a gain of about 3.
It's a good play call right there, being able to understand that you do have another quarterback coming into this game. He's brand new. The guy is going to need to be settled into this football game. But another key loss to Miami of Ohio if their starting quarterback is out of this game today.
2nd and 6. The handoff to Tracy, dragging a man, and picks up the 1st down for a gain of 7 there.
That's a great hard run in by Tracy. But going back to that last comment, Wyatt, if you're looking at Finn and what he brought to this offense, he was able to be that perfect dual threat quarterback. We need to see if Hessen is going to have that same type of role in this offense, or if he's going to be a little less when it comes to being able to use his legs and make something happen out of the pocket.
And another Red Hawk down here. We're going to step aside real quick. The Rebels trail 14-10 in the second quarter, 10:03 remaining. You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sportsnet. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebel Sports Net. 1st and 10 for the RedHawks. Hessen going deep down the near sideline, wide open inside Rebel territory. Cam Perry with a huge gain there for this offense.
That is a beautiful pitch and catch between Hessen and Perry on that play. And Hessen has come into this football game and shown he is not afraid of the big stage. Right there, he's able to have his outside receiver just run a simple fade, a simple go ball. And UNLV in coverage with number 13. And he's able to Darian Stewart, the transfer from BYU, is not able to read his keys, stay on target right there.
41-yard gain there for Perry, and a huge momentum shift for this offense after Finn goes down. They're starting QB1, and Tracy with the handoff for a gain of 1.
It's a great fill right there by Lucas Conti and Jalen Lee, being able to both fill those gaps and understand that, yes, they did have a big play on first down on that pass play, but we can come back and set the edge and set the line of scrimmage and stop the run. They do exactly that, only leave it for a 1-yard gain.
It's now 2nd and 9 inside UNLV territory at the 23. 8:30 remaining here in the first half. The Rebels trail 14-10 on the road, playing a MAC opponent for the first time in a decade. 5 on the play clock. Hessen rolls out right, fires, almost intercepted, knocked down by Brown, who's shaking the finger. He says, no, not today.
No, right there, Brown doing his best seatbelt impression on that play right there. You have Hessen being able to roll out. They move the entire line of scrimmage, move the entire pocket, actually. His offensive linemen were able to move him to the right, and they were just simply trying to run a simple out route to the outside, a speed cut, a speed out to the outside. What are they able to do, though? Amaris Brown in and watching the receiver's hip pocket. When you're a defensive back, you want to be able to read the hips. That's exactly going to tell you where they're going to go.
3rd and 9 here. Hessen in shotgun formation. 3 on the play clock. Flicks it forward to Tracy. Has some running room. Gets outside. Cuts back in. Breaks the tackle. And he's in. Touchdown, RedHawks.
That is an amazing job by Miami of Ohio, being able to use Tracy on this drive, and he finishes it. Right there, you have everybody come in motion. You had one slot receiver come in motion and be able to confuse the defense, disguise. If UNLV is going to play off coverage like this, and they're going to have a light box, and you don't have linebackers in position when you are playing in the dime formation, that is going to open up the run game, and Miami of Ohio completely capitalized on it on that play.
Coach Mullen, one of the confidence in open field tackling, communication, and growing week to week. A huge discrepancy there on the open field tackling, allowing the RedHawks to put up 7 here. Miami of Ohio leads 21-10 at home with 8:10 remaining in the first half. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. 6 plays, 75 yards, 2 minutes and 31 seconds on that drive. The RedHawks go down the field and put up 6. What an incredible drive by Hessen. After Finn goes down, he goes out, 41-yard bomb to Perry, and then proceeds to flick it forward to Tracy, who gets down and jiggy with it for 22 yards and puts up 7.
No, you're absolutely right, Wyatt. I love the ability of Henry Hessen to come into this game and understand that if you stay ready, you'll go into the game and you'll have success, and that's exactly what he did. The dude has been on the team for the last 3 years now. He understands his offense. He understands what his head coach wants from him, and he has came out and he has delivered for this RedHawks team. And you thought there was going to be any type of hiccup or any type of fall off between the two quarterbacks when it comes to this game? No. Hessen was able to stay in the pocket, deliver the ball downfield to Perry, flick it right to his running back on a big touchdown right there, and allow his playmakers to make plays. That's exactly what you want to see if you're a Miami RedHawks, and that's exactly what their head coach wants when it comes to trying to win this football game. UNLV's offense has been off the field for a long time. That was a long drive, and especially coming off a Morris Brown touchdown, that was a pick 6. Now, I want to see UNLV's offense come out and be aggressive. They need to potentially get 7 here to keep this game close. We've seen them have long drives. They have 8 minutes left on the clock. They need to be aggressive to start this drive.
Henry Hessen, 2 of 3 on that drive, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. Glover on the return, stiff arms a man and gets outside near the 20. And this UNLV offense, who has been stagnant all game long, looks to get on the faster pace today.
Right here, yeah, they need to be able to push the ball down the field and give it to their playmakers. We've seen Jaden Bradley earlier be able to use that slot fade to his advantage, and it was just a ball and connection that him and Anthony Calandria wish they could have got back. But if they want to continue to be successful in this game, they need to push the ball downfield, get the ball to your playmakers. We also haven't seen a lot of Jet Thomas today. The game is still fresh. There's still a lot of time. I would like to see them mix the run in.
1st and 10 at their own 19. Calandria is going to keep it off the option and picks up a gain of 7 there, brought down at the 26.
It's a great job by Anthony Calandria, understanding that if Jet Thomas is in the football game, the defense automatically is going to sway their attention towards him. What does he do? He keeps the ball and is able to use his legs for another good 6-yard gain. When you're able to have a quarterback like that be an extension of the run game, it adds so much for Corey Dennis as an offensive coordinator.
2nd and 4 for the Rebels at their own 25. Fires near side and connects. Picks up the 1st down at the 30. Catch there by Troy O'Meara.
Good play call right there by Corey Dennis, understanding the down and distance, using that play action bootleg to get your quarterback in space, use that big target in Troy O'Meara. The dude is 6'4", over 200 pounds. He has that big basketball body. When you're looking for a shooting guard, is that Jalen Green type build. But when you put those football pads on and you're able to run routes and be smooth and elusive, you're able to pick up 1st downs like O'Meara did right there on that play.
1st and 10 at their own 30. 7 minutes to go in the half. Quickly to Bradley. Picks up a gain of about 5. Caught and brought down at the 35. 2nd down.
Some good tackle right there on the outside by Martin. But again, another simple, easy pitch and catch. Jaden Bradley's able to run that little 5-yard hitch, use a little bit of that quick game. UNLV's offense is trying to go quick. Understand that they have a lot of time on this clock. They potentially want to be able to get the ball back. Let's see what they can do on 2nd and 5.
The Rebels trail 21-10 here. 6.5 minutes remaining at their own 35-yard line. Handoff Thomas off the left side. Gets out and down near the 40. Brought down and marked at the 39 for a gain of 4 there.
It's a good job by Jet Thomas, but if you look on the outside, we had to put a special highlight on Varkey's Gums, understanding and knowing how to block his man. Not only was he able to put his hands between his defender's shoulder pads, but he was also able to block and not hold. When you're having those plays and you're moving out in space, the guys are going to be trying to move away from you. He was able to stay composed, not get a flag right there.
3rd and 1. Has to use his legs, rolls out left. Calandria, diving effort, and he picks up the 1st down just past the 40 at the 41.
That is an amazing play and show of athleticism by Anthony Calandria, and UNLV and their left tackle get a big break on that play right there. That could potentially have been called for a holding call. Anthony Calandria, it looked like they tried to do another little bit of that QB draw. Everything in the middle in that A, B, and C gap was all filled. So what does he do? Bounces to the outside, dives to the first down. First down, Rebels.
1st and 10 at the 41. Heavy formation on the right side and shotgun formation. Fakes it. And it's a keeper here. A loss of 1 there.
It looks like there was a sub right there on the offensive end. We've seen a different kind of wrinkle right there by Corey Dennis, putting in number 14.
Talking about Gale Ochoa?
Yes, he able to put him in. And, you know, when you're having a guy like that, a freshman quarterback, getting him in the game early, you understand that with Alex Orji out, he's going to be a part of this offense and has to have a role on this team. You put him in, get him the football, let him touch the football and make a play.
Shows the depth at the quarterback position. Calandria fires, connects. Bradley across the 50-yard line and into RedHawk territory, brought down around the 48.
Right there, you have Jaden Bradley doing a perfect example of routes by Picasso. Right there, Jaden Bradley is able to use that perfect 10-yard comeback route. Show his numbers to Anthony Calandria. Anthony Calandria puts the ball only where he can get it. And that was a great job. Another good pitch and catch by the two.
4 minutes to go in the half. The Rebels trail 21-10. Calandria surveys the field, checks it down to Thomas. Tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he does. Hit out of bounds late, and no penalty flag for that. And now they throw it. What a late hit there, and that's going to move the Rebels 15 yards more down the field.
It's another great job, though, by Anthony Calandria going through every single one of his progressions and giving the ball to his check down. Sometimes you need to have a security blanket, a security outlet. Right there, Jet Thomas was able to do that. And that's the second time today we've seen Miami of Ohio not be disciplined. And those are, again, some of those plays that they would want to have back. Right there, you have By Job making a tackle on Jet Thomas that does not need to be made. If the dude is getting out of bounds, let him be.
.345 remaining in the first half. 1st and 10 at the RedHawk 33. Under center is Calandria with Thomas in the backfield. Trips right in the bunch, but it's Thomas handoff for a gain of only about 1 or 2 there.
Right there, you try to see a little bit of inside zone by Corey Dennis, just trying to switch up the play calls, understanding that Miami of Ohio has seen a lot of pass plays on this drive. Let's try to see if they can wrinkle things up, switch things up a little bit, give it to Jet Thomas, see what he can do. Now it's 2nd and 9 for this UNLV offense.
3 minutes to go here, and the Rebels are taking their time on this drive, methodically moving down the field inside RedHawk territory at their 32. Play action, Calandria looking and brought down from behind with the flag on the play, but I think this sack will stand.
Another flag on the play. We'll see if UNLV gets called for a hold here. But what great pressure by this RedHawk defense, being able to push the pocket, make Anthony Calandria have to step up. And again, relentless pursuit. When you are a defensive lineman like that, coming from the edge position or D tackle, these guys are dogs. They are hungry for the football, and they are looking for something to eat. In this instance, Anthony Calandria was the dinner on their plate. They're able to get after the quarterback and make a big sack.
But they accepted the holding penalty, so that will negate the sack. It's 2nd and 19 for the Rebels here. They trail 21-10, 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Calandria, empty formation, looking across the middle, connects with Thomas, and he's brought down at the 35 for a gain of 7.
It's a good job by Anthony Calandria being able to go through his progressions, able to hit Moore on that simple 7-yard pitch and catch. Right there, Moore was able to have an option route. When you have the zone, setting up a big 3rd and 12 for this UNLV offense.
But first, we're going to You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sportsnet on 3rd and 12. Intended for Jaden Bradley across the middle. Unable to connect. Calandria cannot find Bradley. A little too off target there. It is now 4th down for the Rebels with 1:55 remaining in the half.
Right there, you would have liked to see the Rebels be able to pick up that big 4th and 12. Anthony Calandria did give his receiver a shot. He also put the ball in harm's way. They're lucky that that ball was batted down. Luckily that it was incomplete. But if you're UNLV in this offense, you have to, right here, the field position says go for it. They're going for it on big 4th and 12.
3 of 3 this season on 4th down. Calandria has to use his legs, getting loose outside near the near sideline, and is hit out of bounds at the 26, 27-yard line. And a huge mess here. Trainers being hit, players being shoved. But turnover on downs, huge stop there by the Miami of Ohio defense.
That's a great job by Miami of Ohio making a big stop in this football game, understanding that you have to know the down and distance. What do? They fall back in the zone coverage. They keep their eyes on Anthony Calandria and do not allow him to flush the pocket, get outside. They keep their leverage, and that is a big stop for this Miami of Ohio defense. Now they're giving their offense the ball, who has had a lot of success against this UNLV defense today, with a minute and 45 seconds to potentially go up 2 scores in this football game when they are already up 11. It's a very big drive right here for the RedHawks.
Minute 45, Hessen looking, screen to Tracy, breaks the tackle, picks up the first down and more, falls down around the 47 and brought down by Marcel McDuffie.
That was a great play call right there by Pat Walsh, being able to pick up a lot of chunk yards on that simple halfback screen. When you're able to get those offensive linemen to the second level and get them in space, they create so many open lanes for those running backs.
1st and 10 at their own 46. Dropped, intended there for his receiver, Cole Weaver. Through the fingertips and an opportunity for tip drill, but just unable to get there in time, and now it's 2nd down for the RedHawks.
Right there in coverage, you had Denver Harris. I've seen UNLV and Paul Gunther, when they switch from their base defense to their dime defense, they switch out their cornerbacks a lot. But when you're having that, you're going to have a lot of guys in a revolving door. Let's see what they can do here on 2nd and 10.
Minute 28 remaining, 2nd and 10 at their own 46. Hessen rolls out right from the pressure, fires near sideline. A little too high for Weaver as he falls down. Incomplete pass, 3rd down.
UNLV's defense has to get a big stop if they want to be able to give this offense a chance to have the football back. And if you're the RedHawks, you have to understand that UNLV is also trying to get this football back to score. So what do you need to do? If it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2 in their own plus territory, if they're not going to kick the field goal, they have to go for it. They have to keep the ball out of UNLV's offensive hands and make sure that they stay on top of business and do what they need to do to get this 1st down.
3rd and 10 for the RedHawks here. Widespread offense, shotgun formation. Handoff up the middle is Ringer across midfield, but will be short to the line of gain. And it's now 4th down.
Looks like UNLV will call a timeout here, stop the clock, be able to give Anthony Calandria and that offense an opportunity to close this first half off with points.
Miami has started 8 of the last 10 seasons, excluding 2020, only playing 3 games that year, with a record of 1-3 or worse. Since then, they've started off in that scenario, but they have finished incredibly well, especially the last 2 seasons. In 2024, they finished 8-1, and then 2023, 8-2. So when you take a look at that, they're having a phenomenal game. They're looking to turn that around sooner rather than later. Don't get too deep into the hole in terms of a losing record, but they're having an outstanding game here today.
Yeah, and all those things go into bowl game implications. When you're looking at this team and they're playing in the MAC, they are going to have a schedule where they can win a lot of their football games. They are a good, solid team. When you're playing a team like UNLV, and if you look on the flip side of things, if you're UNLV, if you're looking at potentially the college football playoff, if you're able to run the table in the Mountain West and win all the games that you need to, you can't give games away like this to Miami.
And an offside penalty by Isaiah Patterson. And that's going to give the RedHawks a 1st down when they were going to punt. A costly penalty for the Rebels.
If you're UNLV and Dan Mullen, that is exactly what you do not want to make that play. You have to understand situational football. You're giving the RedHawks life and giving them an opportunity to score more points when the UNLV offense had the chance to get the football back. Right there, that is exactly what you don't want if you're UNLV and this Rebel football team. I know Dan Mullen right now is livid, and that is something that when they go over the tape of this football game, that is going to be a key part of what happens in the outcome of this football game.
I mean, when you take a look at the penalties for yards, they both have six penalties, but the yard difference isn't as impactful as the timeliness of that. And
Exactly.
Tracy picking up a huge gain of 11 there to move the chains, brought down at the 33. But just a costly penalty that is not only I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But so is Coach Mullen.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're exactly right, Wyatt. When you look at it, you need to be disciplined. You can't make a play like that if you're trying to win this football game, and you're giving, with a play like that, you're giving the RedHawks life, and especially Henry Hessen, who is coming to this game trying to be efficient. You get him off the field, and then you just give him a free play. That's not what you want if you're UNLV to try to win this football game, especially when you're away and you're not at home.
And with that, the RedHawks are going to take a quick timeout. So we're going to step aside real quick. Stick with us here on the other side. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebel Sports Net. You're listening to UNLV football. The Rebels trail 21-10. Pass completed across the middle for a first down. Hessen completes that one to Cam Perry, moving the chains. Less than 50 seconds to go here as the RedHawks are in UNLV territory, marching to try to score another point.
RedHawks using a little bit of that hurry-up tempo, understanding that they have the clock on their side and 2 timeouts to work with.
Hessen rolls out, pressure, throws, has to get rid of it. No one there. Second down.
Good coverage right there by Mars Brown, understanding that they're in the red zone. It's getting close to that time where you need to bend but not break. If you're UNLV, you have to understand that you're holding your hats on turnovers. If you're looking at the turnover battle, UNLV has how many turnovers so far? 7. Now after
they now have 8 total in the season.
8 total turnovers. If you're UNLV and you're trying to make a play to come back into this football game, you have to look for turnovers. But right now, you have to hold this team to 3, go into halftime with potentially a 14-point deficit that is easily able to come back to.
This defense is tied at 7 for interceptions, most in the nation, with Maryland right now after the interception from Mars Brown earlier that was returned for 7.
Yep. Right there, we have great coverage by Denver Harris. Not getting too handsy at the catch point, but understanding that as a defensive back, if I do not want to get a pass interference call as a DB, I have to be able to turn my head, locate the football, and make a play on the football. He does exactly that. Big 3rd and 10 for this UNLV defense. They have to bend but not break.
The RedHawks lead 21-10, 32 seconds remaining. 3rd and 10 at the Rebel 23. Shotgun formation here. Hessen steps back. Pressure as he throws. Incomplete across the middle, intended for Cam Perry. Good coverage there by Mumu bin Wahad.
That's a great job by UNLV defense, and especially Paul Gunther, understanding that they can simulate pressure. When you have those safeties and those linebackers coming to the line of scrimmage looking like they're going to blitz, you're going to get the quarterback to think that he needs to get the ball out quick. They do exactly right that on that play. Jake Pope and Marcel McDuffie both drop back into coverage. Everything is filled up. The DBs do their job. Now you're setting up a 40-yard kick attempt from Miami, Ohio.
Dom Jobin, the senior from 40 yards out. That kick is up and through. The RedHawks lead 24-10 as they celebrate the lead with 24 seconds remaining. A 2-score game here. A huge deficit for the Rebels as they go into the second half into halftime.
Yeah, Wyatt. Now you're looking at 24 seconds on the clock. You're down by 14. Miami has 24 points to start in this football game. If you're Dan Mullen, you want to start this playoff. You do have time, and you also have 2 timeouts. If you're Corey Dennis as well, you want to start with a shot play to start this drive. If you get a big chunk, you immediately have to call a timeout, be able to get the ball downfield, see if you have another time for another big play, and then potentially get Viela in field goal range to be able to put more points on the board. If you cannot do that within those first couple plays, then you need to just down it, take it in the halftime, be able to understand that you have another half of football to back, and you have to go over that in the halftime, that there is a lot of sloppy things that UNLV did to put themselves in a hole in this game. If they want to win this football game and head back to Allegiant Stadium, head back to UNLV in Vegas, and hopefully are victors, they need to clean up those sloppy penalties and be able to play disciplined football. If they don't do that, UNLV will be looking at potentially their first loss of the season so far.
A huge disparity in the passing game. The RedHawks have 223 yards through the air, and the Rebels are held under 100 so far in this first half. Deep back for the Rebels is Glover, and he's going to let this one bounce. So the Rebels will have the offensive possession at their own 25-yard line. The question will be answered momentarily. Do they take a knee and just go to halftime, or do they try to push it down the field with 2 timeouts?
If I am Corey Dennis and Anthony Calandria, you have to have one shot play, but you have to also understand you cannot put the ball in harm's way. You cannot give this Miami of Ohio RedHawks team the ability to potentially put more points on the board. Who are the guys that I'm looking for to make a play right now? I have to call up number 6, Jaden Bradley, and know that if he has man-to-man coverage or a good look, you have to give him the football.
Glover in the backfield with Calandria running for his life, runs into his own O-lineman and is sacked by Nasir Washington. The clock stops at 18 here on second down.
That is a big play by Nasir Washington, being able to make a big sack right there on Anthony Calandria. Right there, they were trying to use the boot leg to get Anthony Calandria out in motion, out in space, and be able to use his legs and also his arm to dissect this defense. What does Nasir Washington do? He takes the pressure on the edge that came from the linebacker that was simulated pressure and is able to finish off the play, get Anthony Calandria to step up in the pocket and contain him for a big tackle. If you're UNLV, unfortunately, you may not be able to get that shot play that you wanted to start this drive. You have to run the ball or down it, get out of this first half, and take it into halftime and make sure everybody is huddled together when you go to halftime to fix these mistakes, because mistakes have led them to being in this 14-point hole to start this game.
And the Rebels now, quick dump off to Thomas. Makes nothing out of something and goes out of bounds, picking up a huge gain near the original line of scrimmage. It is now third down, and it was Miami of Ohio who took that timeout. There's 11 seconds remaining in this half.
Miami of Ohio is trying to be aggressive. They've been able to be smart, understanding time of possession, and their head coach has done a great job of calling timeouts when they need it most. Right there, he didn't have to waste one because they were able to get him out of bounds. Jaden Thomas was able to get out of bounds. Now you stop the clock with 11 seconds. UNLV's looking at a 3rd and 12. They still have 2 timeouts. If they have a big shot play right here, they have to call a timeout immediately. Hopefully they're able to get a kickoff in this situation.
Calandria in shotgun formation, motions Elksness. Calandria looking, throws it to the flat, and it's dropped by Thomas. And that's going to be a 3 and out here for this Rebel offense, who has been stagnant all first half.
Right there, you had Jet Thomas just, again, being that security blanket. They were trying to get him out in space, have Anthony Calandria just get a simple read, and he simply just drops the ball. And what we've seen so far from this UNLV offense is not what we've seen for the last 3 weeks when it comes to being able to be efficient on 1st and 2nd down and being able to make the most of their opportunities when they have the football. This team, again, like was said before, has averaged 429 yards of total offense coming into this game, and they have stalled out so far against the RedHawks in this football game.
And the third punt of the day for Cam Brown will roll its way in to 0-0 and end the first half going into halftime. The Rebels trail 24-10, and their undefeated record is at stake here in Miami of Ohio. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back to Yager Stadium. The Rebels get the ball back first in the second half. Up the middle is Jet Thomas. Stiff arms a man, cuts back inside, and thrown down at the 15. Welcome back to the game.
Wake up into a football game and be ready to play. So far, they come out into the drive and had done a great job of using the quick game to get these wide receivers involved, push the ball downfield. But right there, we have a big tackle by number 24, Yarborough, for Miami RedHawks, who was able to make a stop right there for a 2nd 11.
Michael Yarborough, the junior from Belleville, Michigan, with the tackle on JoJo Earl, who was wrapping around but unable to pick up any yardage there. It's now 2nd and 11 for the Rebels at the RedHawk 18. Calandria looks deep for the end zone, overthrown, but there's a penalty flag on the play intended for Jaden Bradley.
That is the second time today, Wyatt, they've gone back to that same play, using Jaden Bradley almost in a wheel and a slot fade. Jaden Bradley right there was able to get away from the coverage, but it looks like there was probably a defensive holding, some type of pass interference on the play. Let's see what the Rebels can get here. But again, I like it. I like the shot from Anthony Calandria. Let's see if there was an interference that stopped that play from being a touchdown for the Rebels.
Awaiting the call here, an explosive offensive resurgence in the beginning of this second half so far for the Rebels. And Andrew Special, our referee down on the field, gives us the call, and it is pass interference on the defense on Miami. Number 1, Eli Blakely, the redshirt senior from Louisville, Kentucky.
Right there, Blakely. What do we say? What have I said the last couple of weeks? These DBs love to get handsy. When they feel like they're in a situation where they are getting a little desperate, they're going to grab. In this case, he grabbed the hip of Jaden Bradley, tried to reel him in a little bit, do a little bit of homecoming dancing with him, but you can't do that right there.
Calandria handoff, Jet Thomas, and he's in. He is now 6th all-time in career rushing touchdowns at UNLV. What a play there by Jet Thomas.
Beautiful play right there to feed the beast, feed the guy that got you into the red zone anyway. Previously on this drive, we saw Jet Thomas be able to get into space, break down 3 different defenders, get to the 2nd and 3rd level, and make a big play for this UNLV offense. What do they do when they get into the red zone for the first time? They give him the football and allow him to punch it in for 6. That is exactly the way UNLV needed to start this football game and bring the fight back to Miami, Ohio.
Jaden Thomas now ties Jason Thomas as 6th all-time in UNLV career rushing touchdowns at 24 there, punching it in. The Rebels trail by 7 with 12:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. The Rebels have been red hot in the red zone this season. UNLV, prior to this drive, scored 8 touchdowns in 13 appearances inside the 20-yard line, capitalizing 62% of the time. And with that touchdown by Jet Thomas, that is now 9 touchdowns in 14 appearances, while the Rebels defense has held opponents to 4 of 11 times inside the red zone. Johnnie, absolute display there, coming out swinging, making adjustments from the first half and showing up in the second.
You can tell Dan Mullen coming into that halftime and having to talk to his team, he definitely probably laid out the belt and gave them a fair warning that if you don't want to get the buckle, like Terrence Crawford said in his press conference the other day, you need to come out into this football game and come with a sense of urgency. That's exactly what this UNLV offense did, and Corey Dennis did a great job of mixing up the play calls, understanding that, yes, we are down 2 scores, but that does not mean that we need to pass commit. That also means that we need to run the ball and give the ball to our back, give the ball to our biggest star, and that star is Jet Thomas. I love the aggression and the way that he was able to use his vision as a running back to make big plays for this offense. Now, the biggest takeaway that they need to get coming into this drive is the defense needs to hold everything together and get a stop to give this offense the ball back with a lot of time left in this third quarter if they want to be successful and win this football game.
Through their first 3 games, the Rebels have been stomping a mud hole. Mullen is the first UNLV head coach to start 3-0 since the legendary Tony Knapp started 4-0 in 1976. And it's also the first 3-0 start since 1973-1974 season. And with that being said, Henry Hessen for the RedHawks takes the field for the first time in the second half. They lead 24-17 here, 12:45 remaining. 1st and 10 from their own 25. Shotgun formation here, 5 seconds on the play clock. Play action, fires towards the near sideline. High ball, incomplete pass intended for Deion Colsey.
I love so far what I'm seeing from Paul Gunther when it comes to this defense. On that first play, what does he do? He sends 5 rushers. He needs to make sure that Henry Hessen is not going to be comfortable in this game. So far, he is 4 for 11. When he is rushed, he has not been able to accurately put the ball where it needs to be.
Handoff up the middle. Tracy, big run there. Gain of 9, makes it 3rd and short.
It's a great job by Tracy being able to get into the second level of the defense and try to get as many yards as he can. Now, if you're UNLV on this big 3rd and 2, they're running it, hurry up. You need to get a stop here.
3rd and 2, around their own 33.5-yard line. Hessen, pre-snap audibles here on one knee. Shotgun formation. Tracy in the backfield looking across the middle. Fires way behind his intended target, Keith Reynolds, and it's going to be 4th down.
Right there, Henry Hessen completely airmails the ball behind his receiver. If you are going to check out of the look that they had, they seen something that they liked. They had man-to-man across the board, and he had his guy right there on a slant. You need to lead your receiver forward right there. You're putting the ball where he's going to come and get it, not behind him. Right there, that is a ball that Henry Hessen is going to want back. He is now 4 for 12. I would like to see UNLV's defense continue to put pressure on the quarterback and make him have errant throws like we've seen so far.
And Stanton with the punt here. Irvin Faircats is at the 33. And this Rebel offense is going to come out for the second time in the second half here. And they're coming out with vengeance.
And the biggest thing about this, Wyatt, is it's only 11:59 in this football game. There's only been 3 minutes that has elapsed since kickoff took place. If you're the UNLV Rebels, the fact that you have the opportunity to come out and either get 3 to be down 4 or get a touchdown and potentially the extra point and tie this football game with 11 minutes and 59 seconds left in this football game, there's a lot of football left. That is exactly what you want if you are the Rebels, considering how porous they played in that first half. This is exactly what they need. They need to come out, continue to be aggressive, and do what they did in that first drive of the second half.
10 points in the first half, 161 yards. Last drive, 7 points, 65 yards, and it's Jet Thomas breaking loose into RedHawk territory. What a great run there.
Again, they're doing it again. Feed the beast, feed the Jet, and allow him to explode. What does he do? He takes the run. The offensive line, when they are able to provide holes for Jet Thomas, he is always going to find a way to make a big play, and he did exactly that on that play. When you are a running back, all it is patience, patience, burst. everything needs to be about being explosive and getting to the next level. Jet Thomas did that perfectly on that play.
Now I'm ready to go out there. Calandria fires outside, dropped, hit him right in the chest, unable to complete the pass to Omire. Second down.
That's a play that Troy Omire would have wanted to have back right there. They're running a simple speed cut to the outside, and Troy Omire, it's all about timing. Right here, you see him spitting on his hands, trying to get a little bit more sticky on the gloves. That's a ball he knows that he could catch, and 9 out of 10 times he is going to catch that ball. Another good ball by Calandria. Let's see what they do on 2nd and 10.
Shotgun trips left for the Rebels. Handoff up the middle. Cuts back inside. A good gain there by Thomas, brought down inside the 30 in RedHawk territory.
Jet Thomas right there was no crease that he could have gone to what they were trying to do, which is the halfback gap. They were trying to move that left guard behind the center, get him moving in the motion, and try to get him out in space, and there was nowhere to go. The Miami RedHawks did a great job of filling that gap. So what does Jet Thomas do? He's able to be patient, able to use his patience like a young Le'Veon Bell and watch the holes and let them develop. He's able to pick up a good 7 yards right there on the play.
3rd and 3 for the Rebels here. Handoff up the middle, carrying the load. And we will see where he is marked. It is close to the first down line to gain. Awaiting the official. And it's a first down. Great carry there by Jet Thomas.
Jet Thomas showing the perfect example why if you are a young football player out there, you need to hit the weight room. If you look at this guy's lower body, he has thick thighs and strong calves. If you are a running back and you're trying to move the pile on a big 4th or 2nd or 3rd and 2, you need to be able to have enough leg drive to move the pocket and move the pile. He did exactly that right there. Big first down for the Rebels.
Big power there. 1st and 10. Calandria has to get something going, but is sacked in the backfield by Blake Rice.
What a great effort by Blake Rice, and that play was over before it could even get started. Anthony Calandria basically had zero time to really go through his reads on that play-action pass. There was pretty much pressure from every single side of the line, not only the edges but also from the inside. This UNLV offensive line needs to do a better job of allowing Anthony Calandria to have enough time to dissect the defense and diagnose what they're trying to do against him.
Miami of Ohio's Roosevelt Andrews III is shaking up after the play. The redshirt sophomore, 6'1", 255-pound defensive lineman from Barberton, Ohio, able to walk off on his own. That's the 3rd sack of the day for the RedHawks here. It's now 2nd and 13 for the Rebels.
Big 2nd down right here for the Rebels, but again, you don't want to put the ball in harm's way. You can take what the defense gives you.
Calandria quick fires. Omire catches, breaks the tackle, picks up the first down, and is dragged out of bounds for the first down.
And Omire's on the sideline getting hype, flexing it up, and he knows that previously on this drive, he had a drop. What do? If you're a receiver, you have to have a quick mindset, quick mentality, short-term memory loss. Almost like a little bit of just keep swimming, just keep swimming. You need to keep the chains moving. What does he do? On a 5-yard hitch, he's able to get a big first down for this UNLV offense, putting them right back into the red zone. Let's see if they can get a score here to tie this football game up.
Terrence Bud Crawford, Nemo, Dory. I like the references you're giving us today.
On it today this morning.
Handoff up the middle, breaking a tackle and getting close to the end zone. Inside the 10 is Kevon Lee.
Kevon Lee trying to do his best Anthony Calandria impression, walking right over it, man. This time not having to do much on a hurdle, but again, following his lead blockers. When this UNLV offensive line is able to move out in space, you get those big bodies moving. Those are like elephants in the Sahara running down trying to chase after a hyena. You do not want those guys being in the way and having to block and get a tackle in front of those guys. It is terrible, and that is something that the RedHawks defense has been struggling with all day.
And 1st and goal for the Rebels at the 5. A gain of 1 there. You just keep on coming with these.
I mean, man, it's early. I wanted this. The Rebels, they came out and they didn't take care of business when they needed to. But we do have an injured defensive back on the field. Looks like number 17.
Caleb Martin is rolling around on the field, writhing in pain. So we're going to step aside here. 7:55 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Rebels trail 24-17, but they're knocking on the door. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. I'm Wyatt Touchet alongside Johnnie Graves, and the injured Caleb Martin was able to walk off without any help, but still attended by the athletic training staff. The Rebels are in RedHawk territory, 2nd and goal at the 4. They trail by 7, but that could change momentarily here, partner.
If I'm Corey Dennis, knowing that Hunter is out of that game, he is their top defensive back. So what do you want to do? You have it outside at the bottom, Troy Amire. Let's see if they target him in this position.
2nd and goal. Lee motion to the far sideline. Calandria, quick, across the middle, caught, touchdown Rebels, Jaden Bradley.
So what do? They don't go to the outside. They go to the inside. And when you're a slot receiver and you're not playing on the ball, on the line of scrimmage, you're able to have a free release. What does he do? One stick to the outside, gets that defensive back to move his feet, completely loses his inside leverage, and it's an easy pitch and catch for a slant route on a touchdown for Jaden Bradley, who has had a phenomenal season so far for the Rebels.
UNLV has scored 20 points in each of the last now 26 games, which is the 2nd largest streak in FBS behind Memphis, who has 40 straight. That touchdown there and extra point by Viella ties this ball game up at 24. 9 plays, 66 yards, 414 off a 4-yard slant and catch touchdown by Jaden Bradley. You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sports Net. Tie ball game, 3rd quarter action for the Rebels at Yeager Stadium. It's tied 24 apiece. They trailed as much as 14, and they have come out swinging in this 3rd quarter, 14 unanswered points. And before we get to that, Johnny, let me give you a couple notable Miami alums since they're in Ohio. One of the most notable being quarterback, 2-time Super Bowl champion for the Steelers, Big Ben Roethlisberger, who got his jersey retired in 2007. He played there in 2001 for 3 seasons, all the way to 2003. Also, CEO of AT&T, C. Michael Armstrong. The CEO of Twitter, Adam Bain. I mean, the list can go on and on. The 23rd President of the United States, Benjamin Harrison. Starbucks CEO, Brian Nickel. I mean, you're giving out references. I got to give you some of my own right here. SVP at Uber, Ryan Graves. So, Johnny Graves, Ryan Graves.
Might be my cousin.
Yeah, might be. But at any rate, got some big names coming out of Miami, and it's a big game now for the Rebels. Return here, breaking loose. No one's going to catch him. 20, 10, 5, touchdown RedHawks. What a return there by Keith Reynolds. 100 yards the other way, putting up 6 immediately.
Right there, Keith Reynolds said, if you're not going to give me the football, I'm going to call my own number and make a play. Right there, like a jet and a shot out of a cannon, Keith Reynolds was able to get that kickoff return and go straight to the house. If you're Miami of Ohio, that is exactly the spark you needed to be able to stay in this football game. You had 14 unanswered points, and what do you do after another touchdown by the Rebels? You come out and get a big kick return touchdown. For Keith Reynolds being one of the leaders of this team, that was a big, amazing play. The RedHawks have some life. Let's see if UNLV is going to be able to answer with a touchdown of their own with this next drive.
What a return here from Reynolds. Not even touched on this return and just breaks free on his own 40-yard line and was just a track race.
Yeah, no, if right there you're able to have top-level speed. This guy is a Division I transfer coming from the University of Washington. He is a player. He is a blazer. He has that number 0 on for a reason, too. You got a little bit of drip, man. You got to sometimes show guys why you're the star athlete, why you're the star player for this team, and Miami of Ohio really needed it. They needed to be able to have some momentum go in their favor because UNLV has come out guns blazing. So let's see if this Miami defense can be able to replicate some of the success they had in the first half against this UNLV offense. But UNLV, they have to answer a big play like that because now if you're looking at time, there's 7 minutes left in this third quarter. This Miami of Ohio team is not going to go away, as we've seen with Reynolds' kickoff return for a touchdown.
The last time that a Red Hawk returned one to the house, 2018, Maurice Thomas versus Western Michigan, 99 yards. What a return there by Reynolds.
Amazing play by Reynolds.
Now deep back for the Rebels is Glover. Let's see if he takes it back to the house now.
I know, this is looking like another game of college football 26, man. It's going crazy. A little bit of human joystick action right there from Reynolds on that last play.
Shoot, I will say, if it was us playing, this would not be the score. It would be a blowout for me.
Maybe that. We're going to have to pick up the sticks a little bit later, Wyatt. We'll see after this game.
You can get this work. 1st and 10 for the Rebels at their own 25, giving up the huge kickoff return for a touchdown by Keith Reynolds. They trail by 7, 31-24, 7:33 remaining in the third.
Yeah, no, for this UNLV offense and Corey Dennis, they need to just be efficient. There's still a lot of time in this football game, and you're not down by 14 like you were before. You're not going to be in as desperate of a mode. Let's see what they can dial up here on first down.
Calandria outside, connects. First down and some more. What a play there, and catch by Day Reynolds.
Day Reynolds has been very consistent all day today, knowing that my University of Miami, Ohio has been playing a lot of off coverage. If you are going to play off coverage, Anthony Calandria is being able to roll out, and the biggest part of that play, offensive line being able to buy him time to go through his reads. Dejon Reynolds able to give the ball and give his numbers back to his quarterback. Great play.
18-yard catch there. Handoff Thomas. Stutter step in, picks up a gain of about 4 on first down.
It's a great job right there by Jet Thomas, understanding that, hey, things might be clogged up, but I'm not going to allow the safety just to get an easy tackle. He's going to have to pull me down to the ground. He does a great job of using his strength, keeping his leverage, and now setting up a 2nd and 7 for this UNLV offense.
Corbin Hondrew with the tackle. Previously got the interception on Calandria early in the first half. 2nd and 7 for the Rebels at their own 46. Shotgun formation, Calandria, quick, tipped up in the air, intercepted. It's Hondrew again, and no one's going to catch him. A pick 6. Here for the RedHawks. They capitalize in 14 points of their own here in the second half.
If you are a Miami RedHawks fan, you are going absolutely ballistic right now. Again, the name of the game is tips and overthrows. And if you are able to capitalize on those plays, you are able to play that to your favor. We have now seen two 2 pick sixes in this game, both from Morris Brown and now Honaru being able to make that play. And that, if you're the RedHawks, that's exactly what you needed. For Anthony Calangria, you don't want to put the ball in harm's way. Right there, you have a tip from the defensive lineman being able to put just a pinky up to get that ball up in the air and being able to track it down for that big pick six. Now UNLV are facing another 14-hole deficit, but there still is a lot of time on this clock. That is something that is working in the Rebels' favor, but they have a lot of cleanup if they want to work their way back into this football game.
Corbin Hondrew, 48-yard pick six, puts them up by 14. The momentum has swung back to Miami. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves on the call. If you're now just joining us, the Rebels were red hot in the third quarter, scoring 14 unanswered points until the RedHawks do it on their own. And as I say that, there's a fumble on the play by Glover, recovered by the RedHawks, and it's their ball. A kickoff for over 100 yards by Keith Reynolds. He takes it to the house, 31-24, and then a pick six by Corbin Hondrew, 48 yards the other way. And now the Rebels lose the ball after Glover fumbles it, and the RedHawks are in commanding position to go up by 3 scores here.
If you are the UNLV Rebels, this is what you do not want if you are trying to flip this football game. But it looks like they're going to have to replay this down, because it looks like Jalen Glover was actually down by contact on this play before the fumble.
Glover slipped on the turf, and his elbow hit the ground. He was not touched, but regardless, it is college football, so once you hit the turf, you are down. So it looks like the Rebels will get the ball back. Coach Mullen spoke earlier in the week about Miami, and he had mentioned how they're a very well-coached team. They're tough and disciplined, and we're seeing it here. The way they responded back, not answering those 14 points until Keith Reynolds sparked something in that team on that sideline.
100% Wyatt. I think going back, if you look back, it has a lot of the shades of the Idaho State game. These guys are not afraid, and especially on the defensive end of the football, they have come with their hard hats on, and they have been ready to play all day today. If you look at Hondrew, who's been able to have 2 big key interceptions, and on that play, they were able to get pressure, and people were able to use their efforts to be able to get a hand up and get that ball in the air. But the biggest thing was UNLV came out, got 2 touchdowns to start the drive, to start the second half, and then Miami of Ohio had to settle with those 3 and outs. When you're having that kind of success and you're seeing the other team kind of take that away from you and seeing the momentum fall behind, and you lose that, it's kind of hard to keep that momentum going up. But we've been able to see Reynolds with that kickoff return, that pick six, and now potentially a fumble recovery. They've been able to stay locked into this football game and understand that their head coach is going to lead them to the right place where they want to be. Let's see what happens and what the call is going to be on the field for this last play.
For a majority of their games, the Rebels have been up by double digits, so the defense has been having to go out and make stops on 3rd and 4th down. But the offensive line in the first half was struggling, so they were getting off the field quick, allowing those longer drives to wear out this defense. And then the UNLV offense just wasn't able to get down the field until the beginning of the 3rd quarter.
Exactly. Like you said, if you're able to have the defense on the field for that long, you are going to naturally wear that defense down. They're going to be huffing and puffing, and a lot of those same guys that you would think are going to be fresh are now going to be a little bit tired. That's going to make the defensive backs tired. That's going to make the pass rushers tired, and that's going to make for everything to be sluggish and see a lot of the mistakes that we've seen today so far in this game.
After review, Glover was down by contact, so the Rebels will start this offensive possession at the 12.5-yard line. Calandria, handoff Lee up the middle, spins around for a gain of about 5.
It's a good job and good play call by Corey Dennis to settle down the troops. Sometimes you just need to get a simple run. That's a 6-yard pickup by Kevon Lee. Great hard running, but you're able to start the drive off with a good run and a good positive game script. That's what you want to do when you're a play caller.
2nd and 4 now for the Rebels. They trail 38-24. Calandria, quick to the outside. One-hand catch by Lee, and he's brought down out of bounds at the line of scrimmage.
That's a great tackle by the cornerback right there. And he was able to just simply, Eli Blakely was able to just simply wrap up and make a great tackle. But we talk a lot about running backs. Running backs, they're kind of, you look at the guys, hey, if they can catch up the backfield, that's a plus. Right there, Kevon Lee made an amazing one-hand snag on the sideline. Just picking it out there and grabbing the ball, being able to hold it like it was just a little empty little Nerf ball and get the big catch. But it's now big 3rd and 5 right here for the Rebels.
Irvin in motion. Quick out again to Lee. Same place, but this time better result. 1st down. Steps out of bounds around the 26, 27-yard line, moving the chains here for the Rebel offense.
Right here by Anthony Calandria, he does the perfect example of if it's not broke, do not fix it. Right there, he's able to diagnose the coverage and see that quickly. They are playing everybody close to the line of scrimmage, close to where the line of gain is. What am I going to do? I'm going to go right back to my safety valve, my safety option, my quick check down, keep the chains moving.
1st and 10 at their own 27, handoff out the right side. Picks up a gain of about 4 there. 2nd down.
Another good run and play call. Looks like Kevon Lee got the ball again, setting up a 2nd and 7. But I like that Corey Dennis has been able to mix up the run and the pass so far on this drive. That's exactly what UNLV needs to do. They need to understand that, again, they're not having the press. There's still a lot of time in this football game, but being able to be consistent, keeping Anthony Calandria on target and on schedule is what this team needs.
Play action. Tipped up in the air, almost intercepted. You can feel the heart drop of Rebel fans across the nation. That ball intended there for Irvin. A fortunate drop there.
Yeah, right there you have Irvin, and it looks like, again, just more congestion, and we have more pressure from that from that defensive line by the RedHawks being able to put a hand up, and Rice was able to get a hand on that football. And just another miscommunication. Again, we need to see the Rebels be able to be more consistent when it comes to moving this football down the field, and we haven't seen that today.
It's now 3rd and 7 for the Rebels. They've been 5 of 9 on 3rd down. Calandria has to use his legs, escapes the pressure, diving forward, and picks up the 1st down. He says, you know what, I might as well do it myself. 1st down and marked at the 38.
Anthony Calandria showing why he is a dual threat quarterback and, again, a leader of this football team. Right there, when UNLV needed it most on a big 3rd and 5, what does he do? He calls his own number, like you said, Wyatt, and is able to pick up the 1st down. But, again, the biggest part of that, you keep the chains moving. You need to be able to continue to keep the chains moving and get points out of this drive.
Twins left for the Rebels in shotgun formation. Handoff up the middle is Thomas. He is tackled forward for a gain of about 2, brought down at the 40.
Yeah, that's a good hard running by Jet Thomas, but again, great contain and great being able to fill the gaps by this RedHawks defense. They've done a great job today putting their hard hats to the ball and being ready to fill gaps. Jet Thomas, unfortunately, had to just settle for those 2 yards on that play.
Hondrew with the tackle. He has 2 interceptions on the day, 1 for a house call in the 3rd quarter and an early timely interception in the 1st quarter as well. 2nd and 8 for the Rebels at their own 40-yard line. They trail 14 with 2:43 to go in the 3rd quarter, 5 on the play clock. Calandria, designated bootleg, fires outside. Bradley catches, but does he get his foot down? Waiting the official marker. And he's in. 1st down, Rebels.
What a great catch right there by Jaden Bradley, and he's able to show some toe drag swag. No, It looks like he was actually out on the play.
Looked like a referee was signaling for it, but the other side judge said no. It's going to be 3rd down.
Right there, another big 3rd down right here for the Rebels, and it has to be positive. Nothing can be negative on this play.
3rd and 8. Calandria looking across the middle, connects, first down here inside RedHawk territory to Varquise Gums.
And that's the first time we've heard his name being called today. Varquise Gums, showing that, again, UNLV has a plethora of weapons on this offense. What does he do? He runs a simple glance route that is almost like a post, almost like a slant, but it's kind of in the middle. You're able to show your numbers to your quarterback, give him a big target to go throw the ball to, and Varquise Gums picks up a big 3rd down right there for the Rebels.
2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, 1st and 10 inside Miami territory. Quick screen here, gets it outside for a gain of 7. That is Bradley.
Quick, easy pick and catch right there for the Rebels, being able to get that ball out. And that's actually Tyshawn Lyons on the catch. But they kind of look alike. They look a lot alike. When you're doing these guys, they kind of have those similar builds. And right there, again, UNLV is able to switch up not only the run, but also using the pass. But when you're able to use the wide receiver screen game like that, it's able to be an extension of the run game. Right there, you get a free 7 yards because you see that those cornerbacks are playing such off in that off coverage.
Trips left, handoff up the middle, makes a man miss in the backfield, turns it into something. Kevon Lee, what a run to get the first down.
Great move by Kevon Lee, being able to show that contact balance and also his elusiveness, being able to use one jump cut, be able to get that first down, do exactly what UNLV needs from him. He almost tried to do his best Jet Thomas impression because that play was almost blown up in the backfield. What does he do? Puts his head down and gets a tough 4 to 5 yards right there on that play.
So now the Rebels 1st and 10 inside RedHawk territory, 45 seconds and ticking. They're down by 2 scores. Calandria under center. Play action. Pressure in his face. Throws it. Jet Thomas catches it one-handed. Trying to break free. But a loss of yardage here. Brought down at the 40 for a loss of 5.
Right there you had, again, you see what happens when UNLV's offensive line is not able to provide sufficient blocking for Anthony Calandria, and he has to rush the football out. Right there, you love to see the awareness by Jet Thomas being able to catch that ball, but in that situation, it did a little bit more hurt than it did help the UNLV offense, setting up now 2nd and 15. Everybody put their 4s up. We are heading into the 4th quarter.
The Rebels trail 38-24 in Ohio at Yager Stadium. 15 minutes to go in this ball game. Will the Rebels remain undefeated, or will they get their first loss on the road? Stick with us here on Rebel Sports Network. Welcome back. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sportsnet. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves. Start of the fourth quarter at Yager Stadium. The Rebels trail 38-24 here in the ball game. Johnny, they need to get this thing going here. They get first down at their RedHawk 40. And they're able to connect there with Omire for a quick game.
Right there, they use a good use of that bootleg, trying to get Omire open on the outside. He's able to do that, pick up the easy pick and catch, and Anthony Calandria is able to stay on schedule for looks like a 2nd and 8. But noticeable in this graphic, you could see that for the UNLV Rebels, they have had the ball 13 minutes in this whole second half, and the RedHawks, because of that kick return and that pick six, have been able to still capitalize and get this lead back up to 14.
3rd and 8. Pressure in his face again. Delivers the pass. Bradley makes a man miss down the near sideline inside the 10. A huge play on 3rd down. By who? JB.
Big JB with another play to help the UNLV Rebels get this first down. What do we see from Anthony Calandria? When you're a quarterback and you're learning how to play quarterback, they teach you don't throw on your back foot. He makes a big throw right there.
1st and goal at the 9. Calandria with the defender in the backfield, able to make him miss and get back to the line of scrimmage. We've seen that a lot from Calandria today. Just a lot of pressure, not a lot of time to be able to sit there comfortably and pick his spots, but he's been able to deliver fairly decently considering those circumstances.
100%. Everything is not always going to be sunshine and roses, especially at the quarterback position. Today, the offensive line has kind of been a little bit subpar when it comes to the level that we've seen them play at. But right there on that last play, we've seen the dynamic duo between Jaden Bradley and Anthony Calandria do a great job of making plays when they needed them the most.
2nd and goal, 1-on-1, intended for Reynolds. He wants a flag, but he's not going to get it over his head. 3rd down.
Right there, again, if it's man-to-man coverage and they see you guys working that goal line fade, the referees aren't going to leave it in their position. They're going to allow you guys to play for the football. Right there, that was good coverage on the outside by the RedHawks, and they were able to fight for this 3rd and goal. Now, if you're the UNLV offense, you have to get this touchdown here. You do not want to settle for 3 and give the ball back to this Miami of Ohio offense.
Trips left, shotgun formation for the Rebels. Play action. Calandria in the end zone. Touchdown, Rebels. Tayshawn Lyons brings it a 1-score game from 9 yards out.
Tayshawn Lyons again being ready when his number is called, and Anthony Calandria, no tips this time, no overthrows, putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. That was composed, and that's exactly what you want from the leader of this UNLV offense. Now, UNLV is set up with a position to get the ball back, potentially, if they get a stop on this next drive against this Miami of Ohio offense. But you love to see them capitalize with points on that drive.
17 plays, 87 yards, 7 minutes, and it is now a 1-score game. The Rebels trail 38-31, 13-13 remaining in the fourth quarter. UNLV football here on Rebel Sportsnet. 17 plays, 7-minute drive, ends up 9-yard catch and touchdown for Tayshawn Lyons from the arm of Anthony Calandria, making it a one-score game, 38-31. And they have an opportunity to tie this ball game back up with the help of the defense here getting a stop.
Right here, I mean, UNLV, everything that they did on that last drive was done in the purpose to get points. And if you look at it, Anthony Calandria with a big play to Jaden Bradley and then that touchdown pass to Tayshawn Lyons has been making up for a lot of those mistakes that he had early on in this game. The interception, both of the interceptions for that matter, to Hondrew, were both on him. As a quarterback, you do have to own that. But as we've seen from his playing days when he was at the University of Virginia and to now, he has a short-term memory. You have to if you're a quarterback. He knows that he is going to be the guy that has to lead this team. Now he has put this defense, who has been off the field for a very long time, they should be well rested. They need to put pressure on the quarterback and make sure that the Miami RedHawks get off the field and do not end up with points. If they do that, they will put this UNLV offense in a great position to tie this football game up and potentially win this football game here in this fourth quarter.
Taking a look at the conference play, the standings as it looks right now, the Mountain West, the top four, Utah State, UNLV, Fresno State, and Hawaii. UNLV being the only undefeated team, but Utah State has played one game in conference already against Air Force and won. Now on the flip side, in the MAC, Buffalo, Bowling Green, Toledo, and Northern Illinois. Miami of Ohio is on the bottom half. They are 0-2 alongside several other teams who are winless. Now, with that being said, an opportunity for Miami to capitalize a game that they feel like they can win as they lead right now. And it's coming by the arm of Henry Hessen, who stepped in earlier after an injured Daquan Finn went down. And now it is up to Hessen, the senior from Plainfield, Indiana, to take the field now. 1st and 10 from their own 25. Shotgun formation, widespread. Handoff up the middle, blown up by Chief Borders for a loss there. Great defensive line play by the Rebels.
That might be the play of the game so far, other than that Amaris Brown pick six by this UNLV defense, and especially this UNLV front seven. You have seen all day this RedHawks offense use that. It looks like a read option, but every time for the most part, it has been a zone read, which has just been inside zone. What do they do right there? Chief Borders completely disregards Hessen, and he goes right after the running back, gets a big stop in the backfield.
2nd and 12 for the RedHawks. Handoff Lacey, able to get back to the original line of scrimmage for a gain of 2. He's marked down at the 26, so it'll be a gain of 3.
This is a huge 3rd and 9 for this UNLV defense. If they want to be able to win this football game, they need to get off the field on 3rd down. And Miami of Ohio's last game against the University of Rutgers, they were 3 for 8 on 3rd down. If they want to have success and potentially win this football game, they need to pick up this big 3rd and 9.
Coming into this game, opposing offenses have only converted 24% of 3rd downs against this UNLV defense. And we will see that here being tested. 3rd and 9. Handoff up the middle, trying to drain the clock, but stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Again, Chief Borders. And this time with the help of Marcel McDuffie, a quick 3 and out for the RedHawks.
And to quote myself, the UNLV Rebels or Johnnie on the spot on that play, being able to get in the backfield, understand that, hey, they might be trying to go for the pass. They think they're going to be slick. Nope, we're going to fill that gap. Marcel McDuffie and Chief Borders were right where they needed to be able to get a big stop for this UNLV defense, giving the UNLV offense the football back with 11 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
Did you just quote yourself? Did you say, I'm going to quote myself? That was the most Charles Barkley thing I've ever heard. Just say, I usually say, or something like that. But at any rate, the punt here by Stanton, deep back for the Rebels, is Irvin, and that ball will bounce in front of the 50-yard line and go out of bounds near midfield, where the Rebels offense will take over here to try to tie this ball game up, 10:52 remaining in this game. How aggressive are you expecting to see Corey Dennis and this play calling to be here on this drive?
I think Corey Dennis, when it comes to what he's been able to show so far in the second half, he has to continue to be aggressive. I think going into this drive, you do want to go back to Jet Thomas in this running game. There is a lot of time in this football game, but you do not have to get desperate in this game. You can do it right now pretty much whatever you want to do. You can go out and you can run the football. You can go out, you can use the quick game. The biggest part, though, we cannot have turnovers. UNLV cannot shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers and penalties that is going to do things that are going to be detrimental to that are going to mess them up and make sure that they lose this football game. If they want to go and set a statement to the Mountain West and the rest of everyone when it comes to conference play, they need to come out, get a big touchdown in this drive, and tie up this football game.
This game has been in RedHawk control. Briefly, we saw this Rebel football offense take control early in this half, 14 unanswered points, and then it got out of hand again. Now they're climbing back into this game. They've found a way each game to win. When it was Idaho State, they came back in the second half, won the game, and took care of business, putting them away. Sam Houston State, they just came out, BTA with the buckle, just whooping them. And then UCLA, they came out swinging. It got close at the end of the game, but like you said, defense wins championships. What's going to be the deciding factor for the Rebels to win this game late in the stretch?
It's going to have to be on discipline. Whoever wins this football game, it's going to be the more disciplined team coming off of both of them the 2-week bye. If they want to win this football game, the UNLV Rebels have to not put themselves in situations where they're going to get penalties and shoot themselves in the foot, but they also have to execute on the offensive and defensive end. For the Miami RedHawks, they have had a lot of momentum swing their way and also swing against them in this football game. If they want to win this football game, they are going to have an opportunity to get the ball back. But if you're Henry Hessen and Chuck Wright and everybody that is working for the offense of this team, you have to be able to call plays that are going to get back to using those receivers and getting them out in space. What did we see? We saw Keith Reynolds be able to have some success when they were in the red zone. And we've also seen Perry do a great job of creating separation from this UNLV defense. So far in the second half, it hasn't been as consistent as we saw in the first half. They want to win that game, they have to be able to give the ball to their playmakers and make sure that Henry Hessen is the guy that can do that in this football game.
And now the Rebel offense, led by Anthony Calandria, will take the field, looking to tie this game with 10:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. They trail by 7, 38-31. Ball at their own 49-yard line. Calandria, 1st and 10. Handoff up the middle. Huge gap. Breaking tackles. It's Thomas getting inside the red zone and brought down at the 16. What a run.
And exactly as I said, what do the Rebels do to start this drive, knowing that they have 10 minutes on the clock, you're only down by 7, you go back to your bell cow. You go back to the guy that is always an explosive play waiting to happen, and that is Jet Thomas. And simply, when they're able to move the line of scrimmage and dominate the line of scrimmage with this UNLV offensive line, good things happen every single time. The biggest key on that play, though, with defenders running behind you, Jet Thomas did a great job of protecting the football, not allowing there to be any turnovers or any opportunity for this Miami RedHawks defense to get the football back.
37-yard run there by Thomas. Huge play late in the stretch here. Handoff up the middle. This time it's Lee for a couple chunk yards.
Good job by Kevon there. It looks like he picked up probably 4, maybe 3 yards on that play. But again, it just has to be simple. You want to have positive plays. You don't want to have incompletions or negative plays. That's exactly what they do. And Jet Thomas has done an amazing job today being able to be a leader out of this backfield and still showing that if they are going to do running backs by committee, they are going to need both Kevon Lee and Jalen Glover to be contributors to this offense. That's exactly what they've done so far today.
That rush by Thomas puts him over 100 yards, 117 total on 12 carries, 1 touchdown. Calandria slipping, try to evade pressure, but falls on his own, and that will be a sack for the Rebels, a loss there on 2nd down.
Right there, that was a big mishap by Anthony Calandria, setting up now a 3rd and 10. Right there, he was looking like he wanted to scramble out the pocket. Miami of Ohio has converted to looking like they want to have some type of QB spy, keeping eyes on the quarterback while also playing zone coverage. Anthony Calandria unfortunately lost his footing, setting up a 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10 at the RedHawk 18. Handoff up the middle is Lee. Falling behind the blockers, getting through inside the 5 and down at the 2 for a gain of 16. It looked like a play that might have been a gain of 4, and he turns it into 16.
Kevon Lee for back-to-back weeks now, or back-to-back weeks and a half. Now, Kevon Lee has been able to make plays when they mattered most. We saw against UCLA him being able to have that touchdown run. Right there, a play that should have been a negative play in the backfield. What does he do? He turns it into a 1st-and-goal for the Rebels. That is an amazing job by Kevon, showing that his role in this offense is needed.
10 of 14 on 3rd down. The Rebels are, unlike the RedHawks, who are 2 of 8, stopped behind the line there for potentially a loss as Lee on the carry.
Right there, you have the RedHawks doing a good job of bending but not breaking. They were able to fill that gap and make sure that Kevon Lee did not have any push to be able to get over the line to gain and get that touchdown.
Jet Thomas right now sits 6th all-time with 24 career rushing touchdowns at UNLV. He is behind Matt Gilchrist at 25. 2nd and goal. I formation up the middle. Thomas met at the line of scrimmage by Blakely and unable to go anywhere. 3rd down.
It's a good job by Blakely at that defensive back position. Sometimes you have to undercut that running back and make sure that he stops his legs, stops his tracks, and isn't able to get any forward momentum to get into the end zone. Another great goal line stop by this RedHawk defense. Let's see what they can dial up here on 3rd and goal to get this touchdown, and UNLV needs it to potentially set themselves up to win this game.
Thomas visibly shaken and taken out. Handoff Lee up the middle. Fights for it. He's in. Touchdown Rebels, and they get this game within 1, awaiting the PAT.
Kevon Lee showing that he was ready to go and put his hard hat on and show tough running even with Jet Thomas not in the football game. Finishing where he started, getting them in this red zone and doing a great job of following his lead blockers, following his pulling guard and running it right into the middle of this RedHawk defense. That is exactly what UNLV wanted, and now if they can tie this football game up, it will be 38-38 with 6:50 left on this football game.
7 plays, 51 yards, 458 on the drive. Kevon Lee puts it in. Tied ball game, 38 apiece at Yager Stadium in Ohio. The Rebel team is ready to keep this thing going. You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sports Net. tied ball game at Yager Stadium, tied at 38 apiece. The Rebels bring it back in after a touchdown by Kevon Lee, and it's now the defense's turn to make something happen. Johnny, we know defense wins championships, and this Rebels defense has been causing havoc all season long, which have resulted in turnovers so far through 3 games. And now, including this one, they have caused 8 total turnovers, 7 of those being interceptions, which is now tied most in the nation alongside Maryland.
Going into this right now for UNLV in this defense, there's a guy that I haven't heard from since the first half, and that's Amaris Brown. He kind of is waiting in the wings, looming, waiting for an interception, the next one to happen. And we don't know what that may be. Last time when UNLV was playing UCLA, who were the guys that made the play? Marcel McDuffie and Amaris Brown. So far in this game, what I need to see them do to finish this is they need to get a stop and give UNLV's offense the football back. There's 6 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, and Henry Hessen is still only 4 for 11 and 92 yards. Outside of that first drive, he hasn't been able to find any rhythm. UNLV's defense needs to continue to stop the run, get them and set them up for second, third, and long, and then they will be able to get off the field and hopefully walk out of here with a win.
14 points from the RedHawks in the second half. One of them was a kickoff return, the first since 2018 for the program. Handoff up the middle, first down and some more for Tracy. And the second touchdown was a pick six thrown by Calandria, returned to the house by Hondrew. Outside that first possession, Hessen had 60-plus yards. He hasn't had much going for him. And it's been Tracy and this O-line trying to help them get something going here. It's now 1st and 10 for the RedHawks at their own 39-yard line. 6:20 remaining in this ball game. Tied at 38 apiece. Play action. Quickly across the middle. Knocked down. Hands by Marcel McDuffie.
Another great job right there. We've seen it all day, tips and overthrows, and these guys have been coming with their hands up. They have been doing a great job so far today, getting to the quarterback, and whenever they see the quarterback is going to be able to raise his hand and look like he's going to release that football, they have been trying to bat it down. Marcel McDuffie did that perfectly right there, setting up a 2nd and 10. They want that. They want to set up long third downs and force Hessen to throw the football.
6:10 remaining in this ball game. Hessen looking, surveys the field. Screen here for Tracy. Has had great success and continues that. Picks up the first down into Rebel territory.
That was a great play call right there by their offensive coordinator Pat Welsh being able to call that play, which is a play they've gone back to multiple times in this football game. You're able to get Tracy out in space, and he's able to pick up the first down for this offense, and that's exactly what they needed when they were facing a 2nd and long. But if UNLV's defense is going to be successful, they need to key in on Tracy. He has been the playmaker so far for the RedHawks today.
It's now Ringer in the backfield with Hessen. 1st and 10 at midfield, 5.5 minutes to go. Tackled near the line of scrimmage. Good play there by Jaheim Joseph.
Good job by Jaheim Joseph, understanding that every time Hessen looks like he's going to keep it on the read option, he's not. 9 times out of 10, he's always going to give it to that running back and have him give it to him under the gut. That time, what does he do? Jaheim Joseph goes, he makes a nice firm tackle, and is able to set up a 2nd and 9 for this UNLV defense.
Kenny Tracy, 80 rushing yards, 84 receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Has been an absolute monster for this offense today. Play action, sets it up, a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. What a play there by Blessing Alualu Tueole Modu.
What a blessing to have him on this team. Blessing right there. We haven't said his name a lot today, but right there he was able to do exactly what you want to do at the linebacker position. They were in man-to-man, so what does that mean? If they're going to run tight end delay and have that tight end waiting, blocking, looking like he's going to stay there, and then go out into the flat, he needs to be able to stay on top of that tight end. He does exactly that, setting up the play of the game so far. 3rd and 9 for this UNLV defense. They need to get off the field, and Miami has the dial up a big play call right here.
On 3rd down, the RedHawks have been 2 of 8. Great stoutness from this defense here. Gets Perry, but he is short. Tackled by Powdrell, and this clock will continue to tick. Another third down stop there for the Rebels.
This is a big decision right here by Chuck Wright. 4th and 1. You have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in this ball game, and you are a couple feet away from field goal range. It looks like Miami is going to go for it. They want to win this football game. UNLV needs a big stop, but most importantly, cannot get a penalty call on this play.
0-1 on 4th down here. It's 4th and 1. Hessen. Pre-snap audible. 8 in the box here. Getting ready to load it up. 4th and 1. Keeper. Nope. Hands off to Tracy, and he lunges forward. The ball is in Amaris Brown's hand, but they're going to mark him down. First down, RedHawks.
Was a great play call right there, doing their own form of not necessarily the tush push, but both the quarterback Hessen and Tracy both had their hands on the football, just pushing it all the way through, moving the pile, being able to pick up a big first down when they needed it most. UNLV's defense hopefully is going to have to bend but not break, because they are getting closer and closer to field goal range here in Ohio.
I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you're a coach, you don't like seeing that. Make the decision and stick with it.
Yes.
Tracy up the middle, breaks a tackle, breaks another, gets outside, loses the ball. It's loose, recovered by Marcel McDuffie, and UNLV takes it over.
This UNLV defense has done nothing but make plays when they needed them most. And right there, you have another big play by Blessing, being able to push and punch the ball out. Peanut Tillman is sitting at home watching right now, smiling, grinning, knowing that they were able to get a big play on Tyrone Tracy, who has been the star of the game today for the Miami RedHawks, but a big, timely fumble when the UNLV defense needed it most. And who picks up the football? Their captain, their leader of the defense, Marcel McDuffie, being able to make the play of the game so far, picking up that fumble and recovering it back for this UNLV offense with a chance to take the lead in this game.
Kenny Tracy with an incredible display here on this run and throughout this game, loses the ball, and Marcel McDuffie ends up with it, and Jaheim Joseph is the one that jars it out. The 9th turnover this defense has caused in 4 games this season, their 2nd fumble recovery so far. Calandria fires down the far sideline, incomplete, overthrown, intended for Bradley.
Everything right here for UNLV needs to be cool, calm, collected, and composed. Yes, there is a lot of energy. Emotions are very high right now, but you have to be able to settle in, understand that you have 2 minutes, 26 seconds. You have all 3 of your timeouts, and you can run the football. You have a lot of leeway when it comes to play calling right here. Corey Dennis has to be able to call a flawless game to end this out and make sure that Miami of Ohio does not get the ball back to end this half. I would like to see Anthony Calandria take what the defense gives him. Don't be desperate. Just make good decisions and keep the chains moving.
2nd and 10, trips left. Keeper for Calandria gets outside near the near sideline. Picks up a gain of about 5 or 6, making it 3rd and manageable. And this is the time in which this game is built upon your stars, making the routine play when you're tired and it's late in the ball game. It is tied 38 apiece with 2:10 remaining.
Yeah, with UNLV being 11 for 15 on 3rd down today, that speaks to their resiliency and being able to pick it up when it matters most. Heading into this 2-minute warning, we'd like to see them execute again.
Tied ball game, 38 apiece. It will be 3rd down when we come back. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebel Sports Net. Tied ball game at 38 apiece. The Rebels have brought it back at the 2-minute warning. It's 3rd and 6 with an opportunity to convert here. They've been 11 of 15 today, and they're at their own 21-yard line. Trips left. Calandria in shotgun formation. Surveys the field. Fires far side. Open. Catch. Bradley down the left side and picks up the huge first down inside Rebel RedHawk territory as he shoots the bucket and absolutely swishes it.
And speaking of buckets, Anthony Calandria put the ball right in the bucket, and you see Jaden Bradley right there again with another slot fade. When you're running those slot fades and you're running it to the field side, you have all the space in the world, and Anthony Calandria picks up, and Jaden Bradley's able to use that emote, that green animation, and it was absolutely perfect. A perfect release and perfect catch between Calandria and Bradley again.
Bradley in motion for trips right. Handoff Thomas off the left side. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage here. Good defensive line play by the RedHawks.
Right there, great job by the RedHawks being able to fill that gap, and Jaden Bradley just having to settle to get back to the line of scrimmage, setting up another 2nd and 10. But again, the clock is moving. The Miami RedHawks are now having to spend their first charge timeout after that huge play from Jaden Bradley. Again, we've seen this UNLV offense be so composed when they needed it most and calling on the number of their stars, like you said, Wyatt. Whenever they need them, the big guys have came to play. On the last drive, we saw Jaheim Joseph and Marcel McDuffie on the defensive end. Right there, Anthony Calandria and Jaden Bradley doing what they've been doing all season long.
Here we go. 38-38, a minute 48 remaining. 2nd and 10 for the Rebels. The RedHawks take their first charge timeout of the second half. And if you're Corey Dennis, are you trying to chew this clock out, get into field goal range, and just kick it away? Or are you trying to punch it in for 6?
Right now, you have to punch it in for 6. You have to understand that you have the weapons, you have the stars on this team. If you try, you try again. In this situation, in this game, if you can't get 6, yes, you are setting up Viela with a great opportunity for a kick, but you don't want to leave it to just 3.
Calandria with 10 on the play clock. Fires far sideline. Omire beats a man inside the 10, plowing his way through. Big-time player making big-time plays. Brought down at the 6.
Troy Omire being able to beat the man-to-man coverage, and Anthony Calandria looked his way the entire time. He knew where he wanted to go with the football, and he put it there. And Troy Omire, who had the one drop earlier, has shown rinse and repeat. You wipe it off, you get that dust off your shoulder, and you're able to pick up a big first down to milk this clock and allow this UNLV offense to set up 1st and goal with over 500 yards of offense in this game.
Absolutely great play there. Omire gets the separation and is able to fall forward for a 1st and goal here. They will reset the clock. But a quick timeout. We're going to step aside for 30 seconds. Stick with us here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back to Rebel Sports Net. You're listening to UNLV football. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves on the call. If you're now just joining us, you have missed an emotional roller coaster all game long in Oxford, Ohio. The Rebels down as much as 14, able to bounce back in the second half, tie the game up, then allows 14 more points and claws their way back in to get this game tied at 38. 1st and goal at the 6. Minute 14 with the command here to punch this ball in. Johnnie, they're at the 6. Here we go. Calandria, keeper on the outside. Tries to get the edge, but is unable to. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage there. Good defensive play by number 24, Michael Yarborough.
It's a great job by Michael Yarbrough being able to understand that he had the outside leverage on Anthony Calandria, and tackling as a defensive back is all about angles. Right there, he was able to keep his eyes on Anthony Calandria's hip, make sure that he did not flush and get outside of his frame, and was able to make a big tackle right there. But now Miami of Ohio has to waste another timeout knowing that the clock is working against them. And UNLV's offense is going to be able to have 2 to 3 more opportunities to get into this end zone.
And this drive is fueled by the fumble punched out by Jaheim Joseph and recovered by Marcel McDuffie. It was a great run up until that point, making some men miss, breaking tackles, but unable to capitalize. And the Rebels in commanding position here. Miami takes another timeout, 1:09 remaining in the fourth. Do you just take the knee? Do you let it run out? Just kick that? Well, it looks like the Rebels here are in trips left, so never mind that. At their own 8, Jet Thomas up the middle, trying to keep his feet up, but is brought down at the 5. So going back to my question, partner, do you just drain the clock out here, take your 3 points, or do you punch it in for 6?
Right now, I feel like if you're the UNLV offense, if you come out and you see a look that you like, you have to capitalize on it. If you come out and you don't see a look that you like, if it's not man-to-man or good coverage or something that is, advantageous for Miami side, you have to call a timeout knowing you have 2 timeouts in this game and then go ahead and kick the field goal. But again, you don't want to leave it. We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen block kicks. We know this is college football, and crazier things can happen. Guys are stressed. Guys are out here having to do homework. They have problems with their girlfriends. There's a lot of things that are going on that can interfere with a potential kick. I don't want to leave it up to that. I want to be able to get 6. Let's see what Corey Dennis is going to be able to do with this offense. I would like to see them spread things out. Let Anthony Calandria have options, and if he doesn't have any of the options that he's had today, use his legs potentially to get into the end zone and still have 1 timeout in their back pocket.
Tied at 38. 3rd and goal at the RedHawks 6. Calandria commanding pre-snap. Shotgun formation here. Handoff to Lee up the middle. And will be brought down at the 5. Miami has no more timeouts. And this clock will wind down to about 15-ish seconds before they bring on the field goal unit.
Yep. Now they go against that. They run the football. They understand that they can play the time and the clock game. That's a good call by Dan Mullen. And right now, all they need is Ramon Vieira to just get the ball through the net. They need to be able to make this kick, and they can walk out of Miami of Ohio in a game that was not pretty, in a game that did not work in UNLV's favor for the vast majority of this football game. But they have still found a way to win, and they will see themselves hopefully going in the conference play as the team to beat in the Mountain West. But there's going to be a lot of things that Dan Mullen and this team are going to have to clean up to be ultimately the team they want to be come the end of the season.
The Rebels take their second charge timeout. They come into this game 3-0, and their record is contingent upon the sophomore from Upland, California, Ramon Vieira, who walked on to UNLV in 2024 and has an opportunity with 18 seconds left to give the Rebels their first lead of the game.
This is the story of dreams. Now in the NIL era, you don't see very many walk-ons being able to come out and make plays like this for a college football team. Now you have Ramon Vieira that's going to be able to ice this game for the UNLV Rebels and send them back to Vegas and leave these Miami RedHawks heartbroken in a game that they feel they should have won. Let's see what happens on this field goal attempt.
23-yard field goal attempt for Vieira. Andrew McElwam's long snapper, Cam Brown the hold. Tied at 38. Snap, hold, kick is up. And it's good. The Rebels have the lead for the first time today with 15 seconds remain. The score is 41-38, and a huge roller coaster has not been done yet. There's still 15 seconds remaining, but if you're a Rebel fan, you can take a sigh of relief for at least a moment here with a converted, potential game-winning field goal.
Right there, Wyatt, that's the perfect example of DYJ. do your job. Right there, Ramon Vieja is able to do exactly what they have him on this football team to do, which is make field goals. But if you're the UNLV offense and UNLV defense, and in this case now the UNLV special teams unit, they have to contain the kickoff return. They cannot allow what happened earlier to Keith Reynolds. They cannot allow that to happen again. They need to be able to put the ball not in harm's way and make sure that the coverage unit does everything in their power to make sure that this ball does not end up in the end zone and they can leave Ohio and get on those jets all the way back home to hit the jackpot here in Las Vegas.
41-38. 15 seconds remain. The Rebels lead for the first time today. Awaiting the kickoff here from Viella. No penalties. No negative plays. Deep back for the RedHawks is Keith Reynolds, who returned a 100-plus yard kickoff earlier in this game. And a squib kick brought down at the 35 is where this offense for the RedHawks will get their possession to try to do a last-second Hail Mary.
That was a smart decision right there by Dan Mullen to go to the squib kick, kill some time off of that clock. Now you're setting up this UNLV defense again. You bend, but you cannot break in this scenario, in this situation. That Miami of Ohio needs to make sure that coming out, they might have a play that can get them potentially in the field goal range if they want to go that route. But with no timeouts, they have to make sure that they get out of bounds, because if they don't, this clock will run out and UNLV will be able to win this football game.
11 seconds remain. Shotgun formation. Hessen needs a miracle here. 3 rush him. He throws across the outside. Caught in bounds, but that will tick the rest of the clock here.
And they have
momentarily. They're waiting to get this snap off so that they can clock it. Everyone is set. And because it is college football, you get a first down. The clock stops. Able to get one more opportunity here with 3 seconds, and they might bring out the kicking unit.
This is going to be the kick of ages right here. We need to see if they have any of the Brandon Aubrey luck from the Dallas Cowboys last Sunday. That was, again, a great play call by Miami of Ohio, understanding that if UNLV is going to play man-to-man and they're going to use the majority off coverage, knowing that they cannot get beat deep, you have to be able to have a route that can beat that. Let's see if they have what it takes to get this kick in.
Callan McLaughlin from 57, muffed handle. He's got to do something. He throws it down the field, intercepted. The special team comes out on top, and the Rebels survive in Ohio. They are now 4-0 with a 41-38 victory. A huge sigh of relief for Rebel Nation, as it is the first time in program history that they have defeated every non-conference opponent on its schedule for the first time since joining a league in 1982. And it is also the largest comeback in the last 2 seasons.
Right there, again. Right here is all about execution. And what did we see today? This UNLV defense, and especially the special teams unit, was able to execute and get a big stop. And right there from the RedHawks, if you are a RedHawks fan, your heart is absolutely broken. The holder was not able to get the ball to the kicker and allow him to have a shot at that kick. And the UNLV Rebels will be able to start their season off 4-0, and Dan Mullen in his Dan Mullen era has been able to start off perfect. Has it looked the best? No. Has it came out to be the way that he probably would have liked it to be? No. But what do they have at the end of the day? Another W to continue on this season and head in the Mountain West Conference play.
The interception was thrown by Carter Holden and picked off by Marcel McDuffie. Now the 10th turnover by the defense and the 9th as an interception. With that, that will close us out here, calling this game remotely. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thank you to Jack and all of our PAs helping us with this broadcast. Would not be able to get this one off. So everyone here from Rebel Sports Network, we thank you so much for tuning in. The Rebels win 41-38 and remain undefeated at 4-0. Have a good one. See you later, folks.